Ahoy, and welcome back to another episode of the Striped Sweater Podcast. I'm one half of your co-hosts, Cos Michael Shake Keel O'Neill, Zach Main, and I'm here with...
Cosmic Shake Drinker. I drink it up.
And we're here with SpongeBob SquarePants, the Cosmic Shake, video game playthrough, side quest.
I didn't say my name either.
Oh, you just said your
I just
other
said
name.
I drank it up.
Right.
But
are
I'm
you?
Alex Beardsley. Hi. And yeah.
Same as all the other episodes.
Right.
Actually, I'm the only one who's been in every episode.
Hey. Hey.
Yeah.
What even
But
does
that's
that
okay.
mean?
There was an episode without you.
I know what it means.
But you are here for this one, and like most of them, this time we're going to be playing the game Cosmic Shake. It just came out. We're playing it on the computer.
SpongeBob SquarePants, the Cosmic Shake.
Yeah, so instead of doing, a podcast of the show, it's going to be a little more looser. We're going to talk about this game while we're playing it and other games, and if you want to watch the gameplay of it, then head on down to youtube.com/stripesweater, and you'll be able to watch that alongside of it.
Indeed.
So, but like most podcasts, before we even should we just start playing and then talk about our lives like we normally do first, or do a whole intro before getting into it?
I don't know. I mean, either way I think works, but I think once we start playing we'll be talking mostly about that. But yeah. I mean, not much going on. We just had a double episode week, but that's because we missed a Friday.
Yeah.
Or I did, rather, but either way. So yeah, we talked about Velma.
Yeah, we've been getting some good feedback all around from people I know in real life that are listening to it and talking about it, as well as people on Discord and
telling all their friends. And
yeah, I know some people who say they, anytime someone brings up SpongeBob, they plug the podcast.
That's good.
That's just so cool.
Yeah, I have been talking about it more with some people at work too. There's a lot of like newer people at work who I've never told about it, and a lot of them, my age or younger. So people who are well familiar with SpongeBob. So
yeah,
it's easy to sell, at least get a couple listens. I know one of my coworkers said he's been listening to it, but he just started with the relaunch because that's when I started like talking about it more at work and stuff. But yeah, so I mean, it's cool. I'm excited with how that's going. I feel like I'm figuring some stuff out as far as mixing and mastering goes. So like, I think like now I feel very confident that I'll start releasing stuff soon. And I think, maybe even like within this next week, I might put out a song.
Ooh. Or B song?
Yeah, I don't know. There's this one song I've been working on since like this time last year, or at least that's when I started it. And it's a cover, so it's not that big of a deal. And it was just something I did to sort of learn how to use the tools in Logic. So it's like, I don't know, but I want to put it out because I feel like I wanted it to be out like back then, because I just wanted to start making stuff and putting it out to get in the habit of doing it.
Doesn't all have to be
so
Mozart,
Of course. And really, I think I just need to like alter a couple things with it, like to master it. And then I think it can go out. And then that way I kind of want to familiarize myself with the way that things get onto Spotify and whatever else, because you have to go through some sort of distributor. And there are some pretty cheap ones out there, but I don't know how it all works yet, and the process and how long it takes and things like that. But I'm still looking forward to it nonetheless. So, keep your eyes peeled. I don't even necessarily know what I'm going to use as my like artist name yet. I have ideas, but I'm not 100% committed to anything. Even though that song that I was featured on from last year is Ashwagandha. I don't know if I'm going to use that for what I'm doing now. I don't know. So there's still stuff to think about, but it's been fun working on stuff and figuring stuff out. So yeah.
Cool. That's awesome. Love that. Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to like put it out there,
Yeah. I'm excited to hear it. Yeah, you watched The Last of Us yet?
No, not yet.
We've been playing through the second one again.
Wow.
I played through it before. She's never seen it.
She?
Alyssa, of course.
Of course.
So we're watching the show, and she's seen the stuff from the first and not the second. But it's fun playing it. I've also been playing through GoldenEye because it's on Game Pass for free. Free if you have Game Pass on Xbox.
Right. Right.
So I've beat like the first 8 or so levels on Secret Agent and or whatever the hardest one is, and I'm in the one where you're like, did you play the game a lot?
Not a ton. Just the multiplayer mostly, but yeah, I mean, I played it. I'm familiar with it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you do the story, it's like when I got the game too, originally on the N64, it already had a file that had all the cheats and all the levels unlocked.
Oh,
so
wow.
I never really had to play my way through it.
Yeah.
I just play whatever level I want. But some of these are really hard. I'm at the one where you're like, you start in the prison cell.
Yeah.
So you have to like use your magnet watch to get the key and then get these throwing knives out. But there's just so many guys that like, it's so hard. Like I keep doing these things like this one where it's like, okay, I almost have everything. I just need to find like one more security camera and do that. And then like as that happens, Natalia like walks over and she's like, hey, I activated the GoldenEye protocol. We have a minute to get out. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I had all the time in the world to find this thing. I killed everybody in here, and now I'm going to lose and have to do it again because, I took her too far.
Oh, boy. Took her too far.
Yeah.
Classic Zach Main. Always taking it too far.
Yeah, you know me.
Yep, but that's cool. I heard there is like online multiplayer, but it's like really bad.
Not on Xbox. So I believe it's on the Switch version, which you have to have the
N64 subscription. Yeah.
Yeah. So because basically this one, I believe, is an exact port from the other game, and this is more of like it was kind of like touched up, so it kind of like it can work on an online system.
Yeah.
But they both came out at the same time, but are from they're technically different versions of the game.
Oh, okay. Interesting. But yeah,
we
I
can
heard
play
it's
it
not.
after this. I mean, we don't have to play Cosmic Shake. We could just go play some GoldenEye. You know that I'm big into GoldenEye.
Yeah, I mean,
I was making it in VR.
You were.
Mm-hmm.
But not anymore.
Yeah, maybe again someday. But it's not really up to me. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like GoldenEye isn't as fun for me to play as it used to be, Like, it's just
definitely
doesn't play, like, it doesn't hit the same.
The controls on the Xbox, though, it touched it up a lot better. It's a lot more playable. Really? It feels more like playing a modern first-person shooter.
That's pretty cool, then.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll show you it after. But I figure this is some of the stuff we'll talk about, too, during the podcast, because sometimes we'll just be doing, like, gameplay stuff and not talking, so we can talk about other games.
Well, without further ado, let's shake things up cosmically.
And we're back from a seizure or something. No, I'm fine. Okay.
He's doing the face, the special pose.
Yeah, so we've had this intro just sitting here in the background for a while. But it's funny, yeah, he does a couple different faces from the show. SpongeBob does. Patrick's doing his surprise face in the back.
Oh, yeah, he is. There's this weird thing happening where like cardboard cutouts of Harold with a slice of pizza are like falling through portals, among other things, but that's probably the most interesting thing coming out of them. So what's going on there?
Pies?
Maybe we'll find out.
A bomb, maybe?
Yeah, bombs.
Yeah, right.
Those aren't.
So, yeah,
what do you mean? Those are bombs.
I said we just jump into it because this whole game, I guess, is full of nostalgia callbacks.
It's got a great visual aesthetic already. The like whole purple turquoise pink thing.
We haven't seen the movie, the newest one, but so I can't really compare it. But it does look really nice and definitely different.
It looks kind of similar to that style to me. The newest movie. Sponge
the models are very like polished.
Oh, wow.
I mean, watching me play certain games, I love to go up and see the attention to detail and like how they modeled certain things.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
But I try not to do it too much. So I spent $10 to get a costume pack. Don't know if I'm utilizing it now or not, but I'm wearing a Glove World hat.
You sure
Instantly
are.
cool. And look who this is.
Good morning, Gare Bear.
It's Gare Bear.
I'm glad to see
Eating
you
garbage.
something for the environment.
You and Spot? Who is Spot? Gary has a pet? Is this something maybe we just haven't gotten to yet?
That's interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. It's like a little dog, it looks like.
So
like
wait,
a little puppy.
Look how crazy this would be if like they lived here and there was just right across the street just like these mountains and
So I'm pretty sure it's like that in Battle for Bikini Bottom too. So
Yeah.
it is like
this is kind of the spiritual successor to it.
right.
I've heard.
I think that's correct.
And I've seen some reviews and heard some things about this game, but I'll try not to say too much of my preconceived
Right. So they definitely
notions.
do take some liberties with the environment as it relates to the show. But
Yeah, I mean the sky's nice. It's always hard with games to have like a layout, like when they made Simpsons Hit and Run and
sure, yeah.
those kind of games. We see Squidward is painting Old, Bold, and Brash.
More like
I am not to be disturbed on my precious day off. I will spend it with the love of my life. Myself. And
Yeah,
my art.
Squidward's just wanting to have a day off by himself. And he's like, oh yeah, can I help?
You to get something very important
But
for
no.
me.
yeah. So it tells him to go away. Classic
Yeah,
Squid.
it's pretty much just classic them so far, right? I can't go in his house or anything. First objective is to meet Patrick.
At the old rock.
Look at that, the texture on his rock, it's never looked so real.
Rocky.
He's awake right now, but he's asking to like
He wouldn't
sleep more.
He wouldn't understand an alarm clock anyway,
Oh,
as we know.
right. Yeah, it confuses him every morning.
Right.
Here's Karen.
Okay.
Going that way if I were you, SpongeBob.
She says I can't go that way.
Big traffic jam. I think that's the way to downtown, or
How is everyone enjoying food at the Krusty
Yeah.
Krab?
because that's what it is in Battle for Bikini Bottom. I think. I'm not.
Is what?
What?
Sorry,
Down-
which way is the Krusty Krab? This way?
I think it is in the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is the correct way?
No, incorrect.
Hey, look, there's the news reporter fish
Seems like a perfect
and Mr. Krabs and Plankton.
Bikini Bottom's best restaurant. Good idea. A movie about how delicious the chumba.
Yeah, we don't have to like comment on this whole thing. I think if people really want to like
Yeah.
know what's going on in the game, they can watch the
Crabs can help find the culprit.
the video of it. So while this is going on, we'll just kind of mention stuff as it becomes more interesting.
Yeah.
Tell me about some of your favorite games. I want to know if you had to give me a top 5 off the top of your head, maybe. Which ones come to mind?
Well, definitely Mario 64. Just because it's just a special general life experience. And see, yeah, the tree dome's right there, which is weird too.
Right.
But I think, it looks like Mr. Krabs' house is right over there too.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
And
there's
Sandy
Shady
Shoals?
Shoals.
Or Shady? Yeah. Huh. So, I mean, for me, Super Mario 64 as well. Probably my number one. Definitely the game I've played the most.
And I mean, yeah, I only briefly did the speed runs and stuff, but that's always been something I kind of was interested in. Even when I played Mario 64 DS, I would try to do it as fast as possible because it's well, I've played this before. I know where these stars are, you know,
Right, yeah.
Even though I wasn't speed running by any means, that it was just one of those games that you could play over and over and just try to
Do things
do
differently.
it. Yeah,
and-
or whatever. And I don't know, just the whole time period, we were very young when it came out, and
Oh, yeah.
it wasn't, but it wasn't fully lost on me that it was a new experience, even though I was I don't know, 5 or something when I first played it, probably.
Yeah. That really? We were that young? I'm
I mean,
trying to think.
97 is when it came out in USA.
Okay.
So we would have been
5 or so.
5, yeah.
By
And
the time we
maybe
played it,
6 by
yeah.
the time we played it. So yeah, I mean, pretty dang young.
Yeah.
And I remember, I mean,
Patrick's alarm was outside of his rock, of course.
for years I was very creeped out by the eel in
And
Jolly Roger Bay, which I'm still, honestly, it kind of gives me the creeps. And it's funny.
the dead-looking eyes, I think.
It's the
biggest
eyes.
thing.
And honestly, there's something about the way that game is, the polygons and everything that makes it creepier because it looks less realistic in a
Yeah.
way. It's something about that, especially when I was younger, could really creep me out.
2 hours later.
Loading screen is the
2 hours later.
2 hours later card with the voice and all.
But yeah, and I think this game, or at least Battle for Bikini Bottom, owes a lot to Mario 64 too, because that's
For
essentially
sure, yeah.
the style of that would
Cool kids.
sort of predicate all the 3D platformers after it for a long time.
Yeah, these graphics are really good too.
Yeah, this is a beautiful looking game for sure.
So we're at Glove World too, which is from early parts in the show. I like that they cater to the early stuff.
I wonder if they ever go back to Glove World. They probably do, or at least mention it at some point throughout the show.
Yeah.
Magic and mystery.
One of the
Allow me to introduce
Madam
myself.
Cassandra, I
My
don't
name is Madam
remember her.
Cassandra, purveyor of
Um,
long-lost treasures of the seven
She's
seas.
Sounds like she might be a character just for the game.
yeah, something crazy is gonna happen. But yeah, one of the criticisms I heard about this too is that the platforming kind of is just like Battle for Bikini Bottom and doesn't never modernized into what newer
Doesn't have a long
platformers
jump?
do. Well, I mean, not that, but just more variety of I don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely more bare bone, stripped down, family friendly version of the formula. Because
Yeah.
even Mario 64, it has easy stars, where. But then there's ones, especially later on, where. It's oh, you're going to need to learn how to long jump now.
Yeah,
When you're a
uh-huh.
kid and you're oh, I haven't even been doing that this whole time. That's
Yeah.
kind of the first time in Hazy Maze Cave, there's even the sign that's here's how you long jump.
Yeah, and
know.
doing wall kicks.
Oh, yeah. And those are still sometimes frustrating
For
in
sure.
that game. It's a very particular, way it has to be set up.
Yeah.
But,
Squidward will finally be appreciated.
SpongeBob saying he wishes Squidward would be appreciated for his art and blew a bubble with this magic wand stuff.
Magic bubble formula.
In the whole world to see how amazing Sandy is. I don't know what these things are doing yet, though.
3 hours later.
3 hours later, boy, oh boy, now
So he's
there's
making-
bubbles everywhere.
He's making balloons for everything. Only those innocent heart may harness the power of the mermaid tears.
I guess it means
Huh.
I was destined to find this bubble soap.
This is an interesting story so far. Property of King Neptune, not for use by mortals.
Uh-oh.
They're gonna
Uh-oh.
be in some trouble.
Now they're, oh boy, bad stuff. Oh, people are just getting zapped and
Yeah.
disappearing.
It's got to be Neptune.
Uh-oh, there's portals
they're all
opening
getting
up.
sucked into a portal. And the Krusty Krab
Even
in the
buildings,
houses.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Wow. This looks
Wow.
fun.
Yeah.
I would want to play this.
Do you wanna play the next part?
Oh, sure. I'll play this part.
Yeah. A is
Jump.
and X is attack.
Manure truck. That's kind of like
So
a,
now everything's just been thrown around,
it's like, yeah, and that
and Patrick's a little tiny guy.
there's like water on the ground. That's funny. Oh, yeah. Patrick's a balloon.
Right.
A
okay,
tiny
I
little
see.
balloon.
That's adorable.
It was utterly unforeseeable.
So then, okay, you brought up Mario 64. One of my favorites too, as a child and beyond. Also, it's funny that they're making Patrick like a companion.
Oh,
you know,
yeah, like
he
your
can
little
shape
fairy.
shift and do. Yeah, exactly.
Your,
Speaking of which,
Your Aku Aku kind of thing.
the game I was gonna bring up is Ocarina of Time. It's got to be in some of my top games. I mean, when I was a kid, I used to play through it so much. I probably put in, 200 hours of playing it and didn't even become an adult yet. I used to just do the beginning like a bunch and like talk to everybody and try to find out every little secret and stuff like that the whole time.
Yeah, I think I have talked about that before where how to ground pound. A plus B. Okay.
Wow.
Can do.
Yeah, so far it's like it's the same exact mechanics as Battle for Bikini
Yeah, you got a
Bottom.
double jump here, which is always nice.
Yeah,
Makes
swing
it a
your
little
net
easier, but
and then ground pound. It's
Yep.
kind of like, I don't know. Still kind of old here.
Oh, the
Sandy's
tree dome is shattered.
Yeah, it's shattered.
uh-oh.
It's fucked up.
That's bad.
Yeah, Ocarina of Time. It was just so deep, such like cool fantasy stuff. The whole story of Link and
Right, I mean, there was,
when I was
nothing like that at that point.
For
that
sure.
was like a big time like trendsetter and like the bar for that adventure sort of game. you know?
right, and it was like we were kids and he's a kid.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, I had already by that time I'd already played. What is it? A Link to the Past.
On the Super Nintendo,
Yeah.
that would be A Link
So
to the Past.
I played. I'd already played some of it. Of course, I didn't beat it, but I knew enough about it, and it was like so I already knew the story, but it was different. It was cool.
Sure, yeah. Right. It was like an updated and you're like, wow, it's like that, but we're in like 3D now.
And it's like the same characters, and you're still
Did it say hit A?
A again. Hold A in the air. I think.
Got it. Yeah. There
Yeah.
We go.
So you're
Okay.
using a pizza box to glide.
That's kind of
Oh,
cool.
it's very Wind Waker, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, those little like tiki mask things are. Oh shit.
Oh boy.
So
Every time you die, right? Switch.
No,
Just kidding.
no. There it is. I just didn't understand what I was doing for a second. But yeah. So Ocarina of Time for me. Here, you want to do the next part?
Oh, Krusty Krab's all fucked up. And the chum bucket.
Ocarina of Time for me was something I always wanted to play. But so, and it's very funny because starting with Mario 64, like when I say I was afraid of that eel, like I was very afraid of it. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't play that level, after that. So Ocarina of Time, I remember renting it and playing the first, is it Kakariko Village, or where do you start?
Yeah.
That? Yeah.
Yep.
And
going to the Great Deku Tree.
so I remember, them being like, oh no, you can't go past this area. Like there's that guy, there's like the stump where you're supposed to walk through the stump.
Yeah.
But there's a guy blocking your way. And they're like, oh, there's monsters out there. But then you find the other stump. And I remember like finding the stump and being like, oh, I can't go out there. There's monsters out there. Like I was so afraid. I was made so scared by like Mario 64's stuff where I was like, oh, I don't want to play the part with monsters.
Yeah.
Like, that was like literally, like I remember that. And it's so funny to think about now, but
It would be funny though to like, well, not funny. It would be kind of cool to have that reaction to it, and then to like, Link is essentially going through the same thing, but he's kind of being called to battle and having to overcome his fear. And if you played through that, you would have had to do the same, right?
Right. But yeah, no, there was definitely some stuff in that I know would have been a little bit too scary for me if I were to have played through it. Like I just was such a easily scarable kid.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. There's something about video games specifically too that would give me anxiety because I like felt like it was me, in the situation.
Yeah.
Like,
Which is really what you want.
right. But when I was
to be able
little,
to emote-
it was like too much. It was like
Yeah.
I'm not ready for this. Like
It's like, it's like any form of entertainment too, to be like that. If you get that from video games, that's like such a high praise, That's kind of what you want in wrestling, Even watching wrestling, you want to be able to like see yourself in these characters and understand them. And that's kind of like what the ride is, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
everybody understands like even something as small as like being down and reaching out for help, whether literally in the ring or,
Right. You can
metaphorically.
You can right. You can relate to the idea. Right. And it's the same thing we see in movies and, what have you, Oh, nice, a new outfit.
Yeah, I'm a cowboy.
Everyone laughs. I love that.
Find the portal that suits your costume.
Oh, so now I have to go to the portal that suits my costume.
Bubble wand to return them home.
So and then I return that piece home. So first I have to go to Cowboy Land. Oh, okay, so I can go to the shop. This is probably where my DLC stuff comes in.
I
Award
sure
of-
hope so. But yeah, so Ocarina of Time I never really played until later. I did play the most of the DS version. I don't even think I ever beat it, but I basically experienced the game for better or worse.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I finally got to do that.
That's how I was with Majora's Mask. I didn't really play it till it came out on the 3DS.
And I still haven't done Majora's Mask, and I think if I were to do it, I would probably do the 3DS version, but I don't even know these days. Like, the 3DS version's probably like $60, and it's like, who wants to pay
You
that?
think? Yeah.
Dude, games
I
are
have
so stupid. Oh, okay, well, that's cool. I'll just borrow it then. But
Yeah.
games are so stupid these days, the way they're, even 3DS games, some of them are, like, expensive. Like, it's just dumb. Like, but it's such a big thing that more people than ever are interested in.
Yeah, definitely.
So
Make sure to bring
it's difficult for them to not be in demand. I think they will become more and more in demand. I think,
Mystery.
the way people consume media these days, with TikTok and YouTube and everything,
Yeah.
I think there will always be retro gamers because there are games that even like younger people will find interesting or fun to play, because at a certain point, I think especially around when we were kids, that generation, PS1, and even Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis, I would say there's a lot to still go back to on those systems.
Uh-huh. For sure.
But I feel like, yeah, in the 90s, that's where it's like you can go back to a lot of that shit and still get a really, good experience out of a lot of those games.
And it's,
not all of them, but
there was a certain thing to it too. It was always the games that went for like style over like trying to be the most realistic, because some of those like PS1 graphics don't hold up. Oh my god, I'm riding Mystery. Just thrown right
Wow.
into this.
yeah. So this is kind of I guess there was segments like this in Battle for Bikini Bottom too. But it's kind of like a Crash Bandicoot sort
Right,
of
that's
thing.
what I was thinking. Yeah,
Which-
it kind of sucks. Like when I think of this era of video games, I think of unpolished, unfinished, cash grab. That's like what comes up in my head, or like battle
This
royale.
era, you mean like today?
Yeah, like today's games.
Yeah, it's definitely not the same as it used to be. That's for sure. It's a different world. you know?
Back when you had to put out a game and it was like, this is the only version of it that will exist for the most part.
Right.
Glitches and all, like make sure it's good to go.
Right.
Now it's like, oh yeah, wait till you play that game in 2 years, then it'll be pretty good maybe.
And right. And I know, and that's interesting too, because I think there are a couple different versions of. I know they do in Japan. They released a version of Mario 64 where there's no
Shindo.
BLJ. Yeah.
That was
So
kind
they
of
did
like an
actually.
update. Yeah.
Right, like update
Before
the
that was a
game.
thing. Yeah.
Right.
What is
And
this?
yeah, but I know. I think about games like that I've played over
is
and
this?
over,
Why
and
am
it's
I
like
here?
this has never been updated since. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're supposed to do
Yeah.
there.
I'm sure it'll come up later.
No more chafing.
Yeah, it's like, and I saw a thing too recently that was like, this will always be the golden era of games for me. Which era do you think that would be? I mean, for you, or like popular consensus?
The golden era.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I think I saw a thing like yours too. I don't know if it was the same one, but it was like the GameCube and
PS2,
that era. Yeah.
Xbox, and Dreamcast.
Yeah, so I would say that era is definitely up there for me, for sure. I feel like that's when I went from like just casually playing games to like being like, obsessed with video games.
Halo 2 was a different. It was like a
So
drug for
yeah,
me.
I didn't have that. I mean, I had PS2, so I played a lot of PS2.
I had both.
That
but,
was a
yeah.
big thing, and I didn't have GameCube, but I wanted a GameCube, and then I got a GameCube in like 05 or something, or like 06, like right shortly before the Wii came out. But I did play a lot of GameCube at like people's houses and things like that.
Yeah.
Not very many. I don't think I really was friends with anybody. Not very much that had an Xbox. Like, so Xbox was definitely the least common among people I knew. And like, I always thought GameCube was really cool, but I always loved
Yeah.
Nintendo so much. And I just wanted to play,
Agreed.
Mario and things like that. So
Yeah, the N64 was like the first console. Oh, jeez, that I got that was actually mine.
yeah, I mean, technically me too, but
But
it
I
was
played, like my brothers.
It was-
Super Nintendo and my cousins and stuff like that.
right. I mean, the N64 was technically like my sister's and mine, but eventually, whatever, it was just mine after a few years. Like after
Yeah.
whatever, and then the one that was really just mine was the PS2. But she
Yeah.
would still like occasionally use the PS2, but it wasn't like the old days where N64 was both of ours.
Right. Yeah, it was mostly yours.
Right. It was my big gift that year was the PlayStation 2. And
That's
it's
cool.
such a like cringe moment, and it's on videotape somewhere, but my parents got me cuz they didn't just have just the console.
So in this too, real quick, Krabs is wanted, and I think Mrs. Puff looked like she was the sheriff.
No way. This is Mrs. Puff's part of her secret past life.
Yeah, we're trying to save her, actually. But it could be. Anyways, now we know Bubble Bucket.
So I think this might.
So wait, what happened when you got it?
When I got PS2,
Yeah.
it was Christmas, and it must have been Christmas, like probably like either 02 or 03. I'm guessing it was probably 02 because I think it came out in 2000, so it was probably like 2 years after it came out. But we got it, and I remember wherever they got it from, they didn't have just the console, right? So they got the version that came with Gran Turismo 3.
Okay.
But the box looked completely different, and it just said PlayStation 2 Racing Pack on it. I remember. So I looked at it and I was like, "What is this? This isn't the play." Like I was like upset because I knew that's what I was getting. Like it had been established that was like, they were gonna get me a console, and we decided it was gonna be the PS2. Right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Like. The biggest gift I'd ever gotten in my life to that point. That was just all mine, And like I was upset. I was like, you guys didn't get the right thing. This isn't it, like. And then they were like, no, like it definitely is. Like the guy said it was, like the guy at the store,
Yeah.
So that's like a very I hate thinking about how fucking stupid and selfish that is.
I had a moment like that too when early on where I looking back, it was like I seemed so ungrateful for something because it wasn't exactly what I thought it was,
Yeah.
And then that was like a very important lesson for me, and it really changed the way I looked at gifts and being mostly like a single child. I didn't have like brothers and sisters my age.
Right.
I was kind of like spoiled in that way, but
yeah, and it's not even to say like I was definitely spoiled too. Like it's not like I didn't have stuff, like I had all kinds of shit.
Oh,
but,
she's the riding instructor.
Oh,
That makes
okay.
sense.
She's very jumpy.
Yeah.
Or Petunia.
Or Captain Claw.
Or Ronaldo.
Ronaldo.
Crab without a name, huh? Try
A crab without a name.
Yeah. Manta Fe instead of Santa Fe.
Ride there?
This is a riding school, not a taxi service.
Oh, I gotta take the test and get his license by the.
So I
seahorse.
feel
Okay.
like this level is like I might be wrong here, but I think this level is like one of the levels from Battle from Bikini Bottom, but it's just
Yeah.
like westernified. Because I seem to remember that big jellyfish rock in the middle. That seems like a thing that was in that game.
Yeah.
I might be
Could be.
wrong, but I think it might actually be that. Like they like reimagined it in a different, way.
That would be cool. I'm not as familiar. I played for the first time like when it went on Switch, and I didn't even play through the whole thing.
Yeah.
But that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Pretty
yeah.
cool.
One thing too, I used to get games. Getting like a video game for Christmas was like a huge thing, and it was always something my dad wanted to do. My mom was against it, and my dad was like, "Let's do it." Like the year that my dad went and had a heart attack and was in the hospital like over Christmas.
Yeah.
And then my mom had one like over New Year's. It was
Oh,
kind
damn.
of crazy.
That's wild.
But when we came back and like everyone was home again, I got an IOU for a Wii. He was like felt so bad that he couldn't get me a Wii, even though he was like in the hospital
Yeah.
getting surgery done on him and stuff.
He loved to buy you the consoles.
Oh yeah, my mom loved to do the thing too, and she still does with my brother's kids, where it's like, oh look, it's this game for this console you don't have,
It was so much fun.
and it's like, oh well, that sucks. I thought you had that console, and then you open up the console.
Oh.
It happened like when I first got a PlayStation 1 disc, and I was
So-
like, I can't play this. What the? And the next day on Christmas, open all the gifts. That's it. Okay. Oh wait, what's this one hidden over here?
That's so cool, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's very nice. That's like a fun way to you know, make it memorable for a
Yeah,
kid,
exactly.
You know, like
you think you know everything, but it's like, it's just another way to keep them guessing.
I remember when I got the PS2. Yeah, I must have been like 10. So the thing was, my dad at somehow, had gotten slightly interested in like what the best value was, So he had like done some research and been like, oh yeah, the PlayStation 2 is the best value for the dollar, because you're getting the DVD player, you're getting like all of that,
it has other stuff.
So that's what he decided, and he was like, would that be cool? And I was like, yeah, like literally whatever. Like,
Yeah, that's so
like,
cool though.
And then I remember thinking, I was young enough that there was still some of the magic of Christmas left in my brain, where I was like, I don't know, I might not be getting it,
Right,
like,
yeah,
I don't know,
you never know for sure. Something could
even though
happen.
we talked about it, but then I remember on Christmas Eve, my cousin, the same cousin who kind of got me into playing guitar, who isn't actually my cousin. He was like married into the family, and he's since divorced out of it. So, but he was a big part of my life in multiple ways, with games and
I just fell off
music as well. But he had like gifted me like some PlayStation 2 games that he like had already beaten,
Yeah,
like
that's
they were
cool.
already opened, and like, but I remember, and I got those on Christmas Eve, and that was sort of like, wait, like, a Christmas Day was when I got the system,
Yeah,
and it was funny
luckily.
too, because one of the games was
This game too, by the way, that we're playing, or that I am right now. I kind of like it. It's kind of cool to like go do all this platforming.
yeah, I mean, it looks
It looks
fun.
nice. Go ahead.
It's it's really a nice looking game. Like, oh, Manta Fe.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
That's fun.
Oh, he's saying Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza for you and me.
No way. He sang the song. Man, pizza sounds good. I think. Do you want to get pizza after this? You don't have time for that?
Yeah, I do have other plans, but I would
Fuck.
otherwise. Pizza does sound good.
Fuck. It's Friday. Friday is pizza day.
Pizza Friday.
Yeah.
It used to be at school, or no, Pizza Thursday. Was it Friday? I think it was Fridays.
It was Friday. At
For
least
me,
when I
yeah.
was a kid. There's a song by the Aquabats called Pizza Day, and that's like the Friday was pizza day, the best
that's
day of the
cool.
week.
Yeah. Oh, it was, the other big day was Chicken Nugget Tuesday. Sandy's the sheriff, and her badge has
Makes
the acorn
sense.
on it. That's cool.
Makes sense. But
Gonna have to do some karate.
He
I
go-
like the texture on her fur.
yeah,
and
it's
on her
nice.
costume.
Her costume has a good texture, yeah.
Yeah. It's like they use substance material. I think this used Unreal 5 too, right? I don't.
I mean,
Remember if
you
it's,
would know more about that than me.
Yeah.
I'm just a fool.
Yeah. That's true.
So yeah,
The
they're in the
guy's like,
bar,
"Hi."
and Sandy wants to fight. It sounds like
She wants to do a soda drinking contest.
Oh, well, that's a fight.
Oh, but here's aliens.
Uh-oh, jelly bandits.
rather. These guys aren't even a challenge, though. Now that I can dodge,
It's a
like,
one-hit
bro, I
kill.
played Elden Ring. This game is definitely meant to be played by children of all ages. Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. But, it's cool. I mean,
THQ Nordic proudly brings to you its
Oh, what is this? Oh. Okay, I gotta outchug
you got to
Sandy.
mash.
Yeah, so this is Root Beer Tapper, right? The game where you have to catch the glass coming. It takes a little bit off of that, but it's really just a QuickTime event. Done millions of QuickTime events. I can mash very fast. We should have a mash off sometime.
I'm not that good at mashing.
Well then I win. I already won.
I don't really care. Yeah, I don't really play like video games that much anymore. I mostly just play my baseball game.
Yeah, I do notice you play in Super Mega Baseball 3 a lot.
It's just like my comfort game.
Yeah, it's cool. Speaking of comfort games,
Sometimes I just like fucking hitting baseballs. It's fun.
I got to get more cactus juice.
Oh, fuck yeah.
No, I agree. Speaking of comfort games, though, did you see the news about Rumbleverse?
No, I saw you said R.I.P.
Yeah,
What happened?
They're shutting down the servers at the end of the month.
What? Why?
I
Not
don't know.
enough people playing it?
It could be. They're doing the same thing to Knockout City as well. The volleyball game that I used to play before.
No shit.
Both really good games, I thought. But, you know, I mean, maybe it'll live somewhere else. Just Epic Games doesn't want to host the servers anymore.
Oh, okay.
Which is fine. You know, they could find somewhere else, hopefully. But they already, like, they're going to refund all the stuff people spent on it. And,
right. Wow.
you know, I would rather just play it if I could.
They're like, you're like, I don't want my money. I just want to play it.
Yeah. Do you
Come
want
on,
to
guys.
take over?
Yeah, I'll take over for Min.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
is
looks
this
like a boss battle.
Oh, great.
So I think it's what RB or B to do the bubble thing.
RB or B?
Oh, there he's showing. Yeah, RB. Bubble
Okay.
throw.
I can fucking do that.
Okay, we got our first boss battle.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even realize that was... Oh, shit.
Yeah. Do him again. Do him again. There you go. Hit him. Oh yeah. Look at all that cac. Oh wait, that's not a boss. It's just like
It's
a bigger enemy.
bigger guy.
Yeah.
Oop.
But they all have cactus juice and jelly.
Maybe that kind of familiar looking
Oh,
jelly.
there's the bandit, red-handed bandit crabs.
SpongeBob SquarePants. Have we met before?
Familiar looking stranger, they call him.
Yeah, I love Mr. Krabs' disguises in the show and in this so far.
Folks pay insane amounts of money for him.
Yeah. What do you have any Crash Bandicoot memories? I wanted to talk
for
about that
sure.
when
I
we
mean-
were talking about how it was kind of crashy.
Yeah. The one thing I want to say about this while it's on my mind, though, is...
Sure.
So far, this game has, like, my favorite parts of each character. You know, Krabs isn't, like, an absolute bastard. Like, Sandy's, like, a tough girl. SpongeBob is, like, the hero, and Patrick's just, like, the friend along for the ride. He's not, like, insanely stupid and stuff like that, you know? Squidward's himself, I think, you know, that's what I like about it. Whereas some of these episodes we're watching, it's like... They're kind of bringing out bad sides of the characters. Anyways.
Indeed, yeah. Right. I know you were very upset by SpongeBob being so mean in that one episode. Oh, what do I?
You know,
okay.
it's like you don't want to watch like Goku lose a fight. You know, you don't want to watch or like give up on a fight or something like that. You know, it's so like not him.
You don't want to see him not give a senzu bean to his enemy who is nearly dead.
Yeah, it's cool to see. That's what you want to see. It's cool to see some moments of weakness in their character, but I like for them to still be at their core like a good person.
Those last couple SpongeBob episodes just weren't very good. Those like quick short ones.
Yeah.
Which I think we have another 3-parter coming up next time we talk about SpongeBob.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
we'll see how that goes. Oh, a jellyfish.
Yeah, so now we're in like a newer. We were like in the city. Now we're in finding cactuses.
Yeah, see this?
And Krabs is gonna screw us over probably.
There's jellyfish enemies with an electric shock attack.
So yeah, actually,
Very cool.
like when I think about it, I don't really remember playing the first Crash Bandicoot too much, and I don't think I even owned it. I think the one that I had the one I have the most memory of is Crash 2: Wrath of Cortex. Try ground pound maybe. I don't know.
Into the goop?
Yeah, do it.
I will die.
No, on the guys.
Oh, like it? You think that does something?
No, I don't know. I was just there was nothing else for you to do.
I don't
But yeah,
wanna
I don't
die.
know. I used to love it as a kid on PS1.
So yeah, I mean,
and then I like years later, when I was in high school, I went back and played it. I remember specifically playing it in my girlfriend's basement. playing through it again and just loving it. I don't know. I really enjoy that game. I still remember, like, you know, how to beat most of the levels and, like, the ins and outs of it. Just very cool for its time, too.
I remember playing it mostly. I remember playing through, like, maybe Crash Bandicoot 2 and, like, playing some levels on, like, 3 and stuff. It was my sister's best friend's older brother who had a PS1.
Yeah.
And I remember playing that there. And I remember playing, like, specifically, like, the level where you ride the tiger in part 3 a lot.
You do that
and,
in
like,
number 2 as well, right? When you...
I don't think
like
it's
the
the
baby tiger.
I think the
I know you
tiger's
do the
from
polar
3.
bear.
Yeah, the polar bear is from 2,
And
I believe.
before you fight Tiny?
There's
Tiny's
also...
from number 2, right?
I think so, yeah. And the first one... the first one you ride the fucking donkey or it's a wild boar or something.
Right.
And,
the second one's definitely there's at least a polar bear one.
Yeah, I think it's the polar bear. I think the tiger is from the third, or it might
Okay.
it might
It
be
might be
in
in
the second
more,
and
yeah.
third. There's also
Either way,
the
I
jet
remember
ski
that.
level that I remember playing. I mainly remember playing those kind of levels that were like a little bit different and like you just kind of like zoomed through. That's mostly what I remember about
You gotta
Crash
hold
when I was
Y.
young.
Yeah. For sure.
You can't suck them down.
Speaking of games that were like give you some anxiety, you know, that game, because of like the camera being in front on those levels where you'd have to like run away, you know, like when you're
Right.
playing a lot of Sonic games, it's like the stuff's behind you, just keep running. But this one's like, hey,
Right.
the thing is in front of your vision, you know, but behind the character.
Right. It's yeah, no, that's definitely like that's iconic. You know, that's an iconic Crash Bandicoot thing.
Yeah, cinematography. You know, those are the people who made The Last of Us.
Yeah, Naughty Dog. I know. Isn't that funny?
And Uncharted.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I always loved the aesthetic anyway of those games, the Crash Bandicoot games. I always loved like the characters and everything. I always wanted to have it back then, and then when I got PS2, I think I got one of them, or I got like the PS2 one, which was like Wrath of Cortex, I think, or something like that. And like, you know, that one was okay, but it wasn't like a lot of people didn't consider it like a true
Yeah, I think Wrath of Cortex was
Crash
number 2.
Bandicoot. Or
But
is
it was,
that-
like Return of Cortex or some kind of thing like that.
Yeah.
Cortex, I thought, was a cool villain, too.
Oh, definitely. This is I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing, by the
You
way.
can climb that thing if you want.
I can climb it.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Like jump on top of it.
Yeah,
and
no,
then
I
jump
know.
on that guy, and
But where am I going?
you're
Might
getting
as well
cactus juice. There is a thing on the map that, or not on the map, but on the
I
screen,
gotta go
right?
up here,
that shows
though,
you,
yeah.
That kind of, I don't know, some of that, like with him being a scientist and stuff, reminds me of one of my other top favorite games of all time. And a lot of mine are on the N64. B is Dodge, by the way. One of my top games of all time, Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah, I still haven't played through that.
That's
but,
crazy.
You know,
I played through it a lot.
well, I wasn't
It's
allowed to
so
play
good.
it when I was a kid, so
Right.
you know.
I got away with one. I'm pretty sure I told the story about
yeah, you like
sneaking on getting the second one for Xbox.
yeah,
Like
you
having
did,
my
yeah.
finger over the over the rating.
Right. I remember wanting to play it because I knew who Conker was from
Diddy
Diddy Kong
Kong.
Racing. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I remember being like, "Oh, that's cool. Banjo
That
got a
cute little
game,
guy,
and
yeah.
now Conker's getting a game."
And
you know?
you've figured everyone else might too, but
Oh,
nobody
yeah.
else did.
Apparently, Banjo Kazooie started as Timber 64, and it was going to be
Yeah.
about the fucking
The tiger guy.
who was like in the game was literally like a baby child. Like
Yeah.
he was like, "Hi,
Timber.
yeah." He's like. Yeah, he's like, "Whoa, I'm Timber." Like, it's very like, I don't know. I remember even as a kid being like, "Oh, he's lame."
But
Like-
yeah, but I think, you know, they were going for like, Remember Simba?
I guess.
Right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he's like Simba. That's
I'm
kind of
Timba.
cool.
Yeah, he had a English accent, which makes sense because.
I'm Timba.
Yeah, or it's
He had
kind
a
of like
Cockney accent. No, I'm just kidding.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Timba.
But yeah, so I mean, I remember hoping that everyone would get a game. I really wanted Pipsy. No.
The mouse.
Yeah, Pipsy the mouse. Can I make this jump?
But bro, oh my god, if I watch you have to do this jump again.
Why won't it let
I'm
me
gonna-
do it? Because I'm not timing it right?
Yes, yes. So you have to wait until the like edge of the star.
I didn't have to do that for all the other
I
ones.
know.
though.
They're trying to like ease you into like
No,
doing actual
this game's hard.
platforming.
I don't know who said this game's easy. It's really kind of hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's hard to talk while doing this too.
If you want, I mean, I can take back over.
Yeah, I can't.
I used to, yeah, give me that, please. I don't want to watch.
No, you have to
fail
watch
this
it
jump
again.
again.
You have to watch it
The
again.
audience hates it too.
Nobody is actually
Listen,
going
he
to watch
keeps-
this.
Well, now they're gonna have to listen to me rant on about.
Well,
how,
nobody's going to be listening to this episode anyway either.
Oh, people are gonna
except
listen.
the normal people who listen to every episode.
Some people are gonna care about this.
Most people
It's an
are-
addition to the SpongeBob
Or
universe.
not. Okay, so I have to time it from back here. That's the hard thing.
You have a second on that board too, right?
Not-
so
not-
just get on the board.
Much of it. See, I had to time
There
that
you
from all
go,
the way.
there
I
you
timed
go.
it from
Oh my
all the way
gosh.
back.
You're a top tier gamer. You
Well,
should be MLG.
I did say I don't do this so much anymore because
Okay.
I have shit to do in my life. Sorry.
What I want to hear then is, get the underwear over there. What are you doing?
I didn't see it. I thought this went somewhere else.
No
It
more
doesn't.
chafing.
If you were to like, someone was like, hey, you have to play me one-on-one in a video game, and if you win, then, I won't kill you. But if you lose, you'll die. What game would you pick?
I know you love to try and figure out what game I'm good at. I don't
I'm
know.
just interested in knowing, even if you're not like, obviously not going to be the best in the world or even top 100 at any game. Like, I'm not either. That'd be crazy in this era where, everybody plays every game.
What?
You got to hold.
I did.
Oh, if you would have just jumped into the water, it would have respawned you back up top.
Would it have?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad that they didn't give me another place to go here.
But yeah, what would it be? I don't know. I'm just curious. In like a one-on-one game.
I mean, probably it would have to be Super Mega Baseball. I don't think I've played
Yeah.
any game as much as that, at least not in the, last several years.
Yeah. But that one too, I feel like the skill gap isn't that crazy. I think somebody who just knows baseball games in general might be good at it.
Well, yeah, it does.
Or, like,
it
just
has more
general-
of a. Well, see, the thing is there are like certain things that I think I'm good at that another person. See the way that is. You have to. You have to make
you
a
had like
point
an
to
extra
time
half
it.
second you could have waited to jump.
But I could. But if I waited, there would have been no chance either. That's what I'm saying.
I bet you I could do it in one try.
I'm sure you could, but you're
Okay.
like a true gamer.
Well, how about this? While we watch and see if you can make this jump again, it could be a good time to bring up our Patreon, huh?
Yeah, sure.
See if you can do it while talking.
Well, see, I made a point to time it from all the way back. That's the only
I
reason
know,
it
you're a genius.
sunk up.
You guys got to watch this. This is top tier gaming. Wait, we can't talk about Patreon. You still didn't give me a game. You gave me Super Mega Baseball, but that's your final answer?
I think it would have to be. I mean, I'm
Okay.
not really going to be able to beat anybody at anything else. I don't think.
That's fair.
I mean, maybe like a Banjo-Kazooie like speed run or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. Because I know that
Like
game
a challenge.
pretty
You could
well.
set up a challenge in which you could likely come out
So
on
what
top.
did that do? That just gave me that.
What about DKR? I thought you were really good at that.
Yeah, I did play a good amount of that, enough to the
Diddy
point
Kong
where
Racing.
I think I know the mechanics and stuff, and like enough where I could beat someone who maybe didn't know all the mechanics.
Yeah, I remember playing you the first time we played, and probably only the one time, and I remember you, like, beat me by a mile.
In Diddy Kong Racing?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I don't ever remember playing that with you, but...
Yeah, we played it a little bit. It's been a long time. So, yeah. Anyways, this is about the halfway part of the episode, likely. I don't know how far we're going to be able to get in this game, because we're doing the same jumps over and over.
Hey, we're past that point. We set
I know,
up
I'm just kidding. Just don't fall again.
Don't tell me what to do.
So we have something called a Patreon. Some of you may have heard of it before, but if you haven't, let me tell you what it's about. So there's a service called Patreon. All you have to do is go to patreon.com/stripesweater to find it out. Once you're there, you'll have the opportunity to give us money monthly in exchange for some benefits that we have, as well as, you know, being able to support the podcast financially and allow us to do something. We haven't done anything with the money yet, but we did check, and it is pooling. Eventually we'll turn into something big, hopefully.
Don't tell them how much money we have.
I didn't. I just said it's growing. I mean, we've been doing the podcast for 4 years now.
Is this a boss? What is this?
It definitely seems boss-like.
It's like a 3-hit guy, so, okay.
Whoa. So, there's essentially 2 tiers of Patreon with our memberships. The first one's Honorary Town Rookie. You give us $1 every month. You get to join the special Patrons Discord channel. We really appreciate you supporting us, and that's kind of it. The more popular tier, $3 or more a month, would be the Goofy Goober tier, in which the benefit that seems the best for people is that you get a shout out every episode during this portion of the podcast, as Alex finds out how to milk this cactus.
It won't let me.
That's true, it won't.
It seems like that's what it wants me to do.
Yeah, I had an issue like this with High on Life, where it just wouldn't let me move forward. Anyways,
So I guess that's actually the end of the podcast after all.
Can we go back? Oh,
Yes,
more
see, it is.
costumes, too.
It's Wild West Jellyfish Field, so it is like the Wild West version of the other level from the game.
Gotcha.
That's super cool.
So, as of right now, we have 4 patrons, and we're going to shout them out right now. They are...
Do they have nicknames?
I mean,
oh,
you can
that's
call them whatever
why.
you
You
want.
gotta kill that guy. There it is.
Got it. Okay.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's
it's like,
stupid.
what? All right. Yeah, Flaccid Cactus. It's Jordan Lang. Weird purple and blue tiki guy. It's Jacob Borth.
A milked cactus.
Gigantic jellyfish sculpture. It's Alyssa Ulrich. And sombrero wearing crab. It's Nevin Alexis.
Thank you guys so much for being Goofy Goobers and continuing to support us. We love you guys, and for everyone else, we encourage you to do the same and hope that you enjoy the benefits that come with it. Now back to the game.
And if you don't, then fuck you.
Oh.
No, just kidding.
In a like cute sort of way. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck me.
Cacti?
Okay, so we got the cactuses.
Fuck you.
Return to the familiar looking stranger. Fill the juice.
Remember Austin Powers?
Yes, fuck you. How do I? Oh, there we go.
Austin Powers is so silly. I feel like it gets referenced like once a week at work, and it's always like just funny because it's one of those things like you were either there or you weren't. But
Yeah.
Austin Powers ruled the world for a couple years. Like,
Yeah, no,
it's
for
like
real.
one of the biggest things of its time for sure.
Oh, this. I thought there was going to be more gaps in it. I was like, maybe reminiscent of Donkey Kong Country with the mine level.
DKC.
Also
I
one
do.
of my favorite games of
so
all
yeah,
time.
that's something I really do. I love like rareware. Like that's like very
Oh,
much
yeah. GoldenEye.
always
as well.
been a thing for me. GoldenEye probably less
Conquer.
than any of the other ones, but
Yeah.
for me anyway. But
What about Perfect Dark?
I never really played Perfect Dark.
Exactly. You'd put it over GoldenEye.
I wouldn't,
Good.
because I never played it. Really.
Got him.
But I really like even some of their later games like Viva Pinata, and I played a little bit of that Sea of Thieves game, which is like their most recent endeavor, and honestly, that seems even pretty
It's
cool.
cool, yeah, I
it's
like
something I could get into, but I
With
just
the
don't
right
have
group and
I just
stuff.
don't have the time. Yeah, right. I think a different like having a cool group would make that more fun. But yeah, I mostly just play that baseball game, Super Mega Baseball 3. It's really I don't know, it just satisfies for me. I just do a franchise and try to like you can like build people up and stuff. It's intuitive enough, but it's still very simple. But
Yeah, I used to love MLB Power Pros.
there's so
Kinda like
many
that.
like little things to the gameplay, and I will say the game is like fucking rigged. Like the higher your difficulty goes, it just straight up becomes rigged, where it's like, oh, you're up
Impossible.
by 5 runs. Well, this team is gonna score 4 runs this inning, no matter what, to
Yeah.
up the stakes. Like, there's nothing you can do. Like, you will either walk them or they will hit home runs. Like. And it's like, okay, well, that's not very fun. Like,
Yeah, I get that.
where it's, I mean, and I
Thank
that's,
NBA Jam. They were the first to do that.
that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's basically true. Oh,
I
damn,
got
you got
killed.
fucking yoked.
Excuse me. Sorry.
But yeah, I do love that game. I will say, I love sports games, especially when they are a little bit cartoony.
Oh, yeah.
Like that. Like that's kind of
Those are
what's
the best
nice
kind.
about Super Mega Baseball is that it is basically a true baseball sim. Like there's no turbo or anything like that, but you're dealing with fake characters with fake names, and they're silly, and men and women play on the same team, which I think is kind of fun about it. And it's just there's like this silliness to it, even though it's basically a straight up baseball sim. But I loved like MLB Slugfest was
Oh, yeah.
huge for me, where you could like just punch the guy and knock the
NFL
ball out of
Blitz.
his hands. NFL
NHL
Blitz.
hits.
NHL Hits I really only ever played like once. I never really played that, but I was always
Oh, it's
intrigued
great.
by it.
Red Card.
I never played Red Card. That I
Oh,
forgot
also
about
good.
that. I forgot that existed. It was mostly Slugfest.
Those
for
were
me
like my
and,
favorite games. The
NFL
Midway.
Blitz. Yeah.
Midway was so.
Yeah.
Top
yeah, no,
tier
that shit
game.
was the best.
Mortal
NFL
Kombat,
Blitz was great.
Of course.
NBA Jam, of course. Hang Time. And what else? There was Red Card. That's funny. But yeah, and then later on there was the Bigs. Which
Oh,
was
yes.
like
I
kind
still
of the
have
same.
the Bigs 2 on 360 downstairs.
And that was a game I played a lot. I remember.
So good.
I loved just baseball games, that especially. But
Yeah, like I said, I used to play MLB Power Pros, which was essentially like a, it was like a life sim outside of it. You would have to like, you'd meet the characters and have certain events, and you could like go on dates and like buy stuff and run into these random happenstances.
I never played that. That sounds
Oh,
interesting.
it was
to
on
me.
GameCube and Wii. So good. There's a new one, but it's only in Japanese.
And see, that's something I would like to do with my sort of idea for a game, like the snowboarding one. Like, I want it to be like a real life where snowboarding happens
just-
to be a main function of the people's lives. Like for getting from place to place and You know, I sort of came up with a sort of a story. I guess I can kind of talk about it, but I mean, it's, not really. But the idea being that, my thought would be like they would have a so in Snowboard Kids, there's this thing, which Snowboard Kids is a very near and dear game to my heart, is like one of the first snowboarding games I ever played, but part of it, it's also one of the very first like things I can remember that is like blatantly Japanese. Like the characters are basically anime characters, like in style and everything, and it is a Japanese made game, just translated. Which I mean, a lot of the games were back then, but I just mean it's very much like it was like my first sort of along with the Pokemon anime and Pokemon things in general.
Ball Z.
Yeah, but I feel like Dragon Ball Z was even a little bit after that stuff, at least for me. But yeah, some of the first like Japanese media you're sort of exposed to. So I don't know. It was just different at the time.
Yeah.
The styles and everything. So I love Snowboard Kids 1 and 2.
Mine was 1080.
And those are
on N64.
Right, and
that was the first game of snowboards.
I suppose I didn't have that one, but I suppose I probably did rent and play that. But that game wasn't like Snowboard Kids is like more like Mario Kart, So that was a bit more something I could get into at the time.
For sure.
As a result, it's always been a game close to my heart. I love the music, I love the style, I love the design, everything about it. There's actually, it's funny, there's a PS1 version
so this
that
whole
has
time,
more
by the way,
characters and levels that I never knew existed until like a couple years ago. But
I was just going to say, this whole time I've been just milking cactuses. So you're not missing anything if you're not watching the gameplay.
Yeah.
And story-wise, I'm just getting cactus juice.
It turns out we're just the gameplay is very just much. If you want to have that on, you can have that on.
Yeah.
We're not talking about it as much as I guess maybe we thought we would, but
no, I mean, I think it's the perfect amount, right? Nobody wants to hear, "Oh, look, we're jumping."
Look, I
and
did
here's
this.
Yeah,
I jumped. Now I hit that thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what were we talking about? About
Snowboard Kids.
Snowboard? Yeah. So that's kind of. And I've also played a lot of Stardew Valley, and I love that game. And that's sort of what I want. And I was talking to you about how SSX was a really big series for me as well.
For sure.
And in some of the later SSX games, they do sort of start to build on the character relationships and like, they make it so the whole mountain is interconnected, and you're like basically boarding through town, and then there's the event area, and then there's the open mountain, and then you find another town, sort of thing.
Yeah,
and
super cool.
I like that idea, but I like the idea of there being actual shit to do in this town, and characters that you can actually have relationships with.
Yeah.
And theoretically, people could like you or hate you, and that changes the way you interact with the world. But I want to do that, but also have it where it's like, so my idea basically was like, it would be like a town like Stardew Valley, but they like the snowboard, or at least, and that's why I brought up Snowboard Kids originally, is that there's in that game, there are levels where it's like you're snowboarding on grass and stuff, which is weird, right? Like that's not a normal thing that would happen, but they did it in order to, have varied level design. And
That's
then
funny.
in the second one, they actually go farther and like change the characters' outfits depending on what the environment is.
Yeah.
Which is cool, and I loved that back then. And I still do. Just like good design and fun stuff, But my idea would be that this town is famous for being the birthplace of like a snowboard that can basically go on anything. Like it's best on snow, but it can go on grass, it can go on dirt, it can go on anything. So you can have the Four Seasons mechanic as well, where it's like, we have like these big snowboarding competitions, but we still have, things going on in the other seasons as well, and you can still get around on your snowboard,
That would be
sort
cool.
of thing.
I
So
like
that would
that.
be like the story of why you have a snowboard that can go on anything, kind
Yeah.
of thing. You know, it's like, oh, like this is
Who
this.
wants to just play in snow, right?
And then, I mean, if I wanted to take it to like just ripping off Stardew or being like super inspired by Stardew, I could be like, oh, your grandfather was the inventor of
Yeah.
this
snowboard
item, yeah,
thing,
and like now that he's gone, like you need to take over the family business or whatever, and that would be like just ripping Stardew right out of it. But I'm not even really opposed to that because I do want it to be a game where you can make your own character and it doesn't matter who you are. You know, like you can be a boy or a girl or anything you want. You know,
Yeah.
And you don't even necessarily. And see, I like the idea of you don't necessarily have to play it like a snowboarding game. I think it'd be cool where you can enter competitions to make money and things like that, but you can also like, manufacture, collect parts and manufacture boards or things like that. You know what I mean? Like, so there's multiple ways to play the game and make money and like exist in the environment. You don't have to do it one way or the other, you know?
Yeah, I like some parts of the idea, you know, it sounds like stuff that makes for good games.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I think it's like one of those things where over time it could be developed into a real thing. And it's funny because I thought about doing the same thing or something similar, but like it's sort of town, you know, or you play a character who lives in a place and they like go from town to town. They're on a baseball team, you know, and they can go from town to town and collect different things and upgrade their bats or whatever, you know. But like a similar sort of style where you're just traveling around. It's like an RPG, but it's also sports.
You should
know?
play Soccer Story.
Yeah, I
just to get
do
some
have that
ideas.
downloaded, and
It's
we've
very
talked
cool.
about.
I beat it. Yeah.
We've talked about Golf Story. I know I got you to play that one time, and I never finished that. I would like to go back to that, but Golf Story was really cool, and like there is like on the Game Boy Color and like Game Boy Advance, like that's the Mario Tennis games. Like those are like RPGs. Like and that was like so cool and like fun to me back then. And it still is. Like I love the idea of like, yeah, you start out as like this lowly person who, you know, has terrible equipment and like can barely fucking, you know, score a point, and then you upgrade all your shit and like go through and you play all the matches, you play the tournaments. Like that shit's really fun. Like I love that style for a game.
Yeah.
And I love that you get the aspect of competition without, you know, actually competing against real people. Because that's something I struggle with as someone who doesn't play enough games, is when I do play things competitively, I'm usually not as good as the other people playing. And it's like, you know, it makes it less fun, you know, when you're like, oh, well, I fucked that one up, you know. Sorry, guys. You know, it's not my fault, though, because I don't fucking play that much.
I mean,
you know?
I'm playing a lot of like FIFA single player, and I'm really liking just, you know, being able to like make runs and have, you know, I don't know. I love just that game too. It has a little more like, you know, do more training and like this and that, other ways to upgrade and switch teams and stuff. So I'm kind of liking it.
I just like single player experiences. Like honestly, like it's a big part of what I loved about gaming previously. And it's not to say that I went through huge phases of being obsessed with multiplayer games as well. Just beating the fuck out of this guy.
I was waiting because I wanted to just update on this, but not interrupt. That we landed in a gold mine, and then I looked through the Alaskan bullworm's poop to find the old timer's gold tooth, so I can use his elevator to get back up.
It looks like Old Man Jenkins from the Friend or Foe episode.
In a way, yeah.
The way that
2 hours later,
he was depicted in that episode.
Also, real quick, while we're back in the game, I wanted to talk about these. These were the special costumes I got with it.
Yeah.
So this is Purple Sponge. He's just like covered in jelly.
If you can't be silly, be jelly. It's blue on the bottom too, so you know who that is.
And look at his feet; they're webbed.
That's kind of weird.
Old
yeah.
No Name?
Yeah, Old No Name. That's what I'm thinking. That would be
Yeah.
a sweet tattoo to get something with Old No Name.
Oh, for sure.
I
This
know
is
it's-
Band Geeks from the episode Band Geeks.
I guess this is like, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then we have Opposite Day.
Squidward,
Squidward
yeah.
version of SpongeBob with the
Squidward.
thing. Oh, dried sponge.
would be nice.
Yep, classic.
Robot. He's in his karate gear, but he's a robot. Maybe something that we haven't seen
I
yet?
feel like I remember seeing that. Not
We
not
haven't.
in
Yeah,
the
just-
show,
yeah,
not in our
otherwise.
show, but I feel like I've seen that before.
Mermaid
his-
Man Bob.
Yeah,
Definitely
Mermaid
seen
Man
that.
Bob, Primitive,
And
Bob. That's-
Banuka.
Yeah, Cash Banuka.
Who should we be? Which one?
I kind of like. Well, I mean, Band Geeks is fucking iconic.
All right, we'll do Band Geeks.
But yeah, what was I talking about?
Single player games as
Single-player
opposed to
games.
multiplayer.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I was gonna. I can't remember what I was gonna say, but at any rate, I have sort of like very slowly, like maybe once every 2 weeks, I'll play New Vegas for like 8 hours, which is like really like a weird schedule to be on, but
Yeah.
like it's funny because every time I see, and that's the thing, I think that's part of why subconsciously I don't turn it on, because I'm like, if I turn this on, I'm going to get sucked in for
Yeah.
longer than I want to be today, you know, like,
Yeah.
so like I really have only done it when I have like nothing going on at all. But that's a game. I played Fallout 3 when it was brand new, and I never played New Vegas. I don't know why. I remember just hearing that it was different, and that I remember getting the feeling that I wasn't going to like it that much for some reason. And it's funny
That's
because
crazy.
it ended up,
Was it because of all the glitch talk?
you know, that was definitely part of it. I forgot about that.
That was a big thing, yeah. Because
that was
I was
huge, yeah.
I've always been on the forefront of Fallout since Fallout 3. You know, I
Yeah.
played New Vegas right away when it was glitchy and buggy. I got the Pip-Boy edition for Fallout 4,
Yeah.
where you could put your phone in it and actually
Like
use it to
as a
change weapons
Pip-Boy.
and stuff. Yeah.
Did you ever play with it like that?
Uh-huh, for
was
sure.
Was it good? Like, did it work?
It was
good?
cool. I mean, yeah, it worked well. It was, you know, definitely more of a hassle to like reach
Do
in
it
there
that
instead
way.
of just pause it, you know. But
Yeah. That's interesting though. Yeah, I mean, I remember being so excited for Fallout 3. That was like, I feel like
Train
that
level.
time was when we're on a moving train. That's kind of fun.
I have a very specific game I think of train levels.
Polar Express.
No, fuck
On the
Polar Express.
PS2.
I probably rented it. And
I'm
played
pretty
it,
sure I
but
rented
no.
that and played through it. Because that's honestly what came to mind. So I'm pretty sure there is a level like this.
Mine is the game called Tiny Toons Buster Busts Loose.
Oh, okay.
on the Super
I remember the
Nintendo.
game. Yep.
Yeah, the train level was hard as hell.
I don't
It was like
remember
the
the train
second or
level.
third level.
But I remember, you know what?
You would have to like run across it and like run up mountains and stuff on the side. It was great.
I bet if I saw gameplay of that, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, I do remember this," because
Yeah,
I
I
definitely
used to play
played that
that a
game,
lot.
but I never. I didn't have. See, we didn't have like Super Nintendo or anything until
my
like I
cousin
bought
did.
my own. Yeah.
And like his grandma did. So when we'd visit his grandma or go to his house, we'd play that and like the old wrestling games on
Oh
there.
yeah.
Dude, wrestling games, like, I don't know. I used to love going back when it was like still considered old. Games like WWE Warzone and like
Ooh, I
Raw.
can't stand
I-
Warzone.
It was like miserable, but I played it a lot when that was like the only thing. So I
Right.
remember.
Well, so I know two people who played Warzone who it's see the thing is like I had already played No Mercy and like other
Oh,
games
yeah.
by the time I went back and played Warzone, and I was like,
Right.
"Oh, this is like utter trash." But
Yeah, in comparison.
the thing is, I think the system of play is just very different. Like it's not. I've heard like people who like can. I know there are people out there who can play that game and enjoy it,
Yeah.
but you have to like understand the way it plays. It's not like arcade style.
For
It's
sure.
not. the same thing. It's like a little bit more tactical, and it's like hitting, combinations of buttons to do moves rather than just
Which
A
one?
up or A down.
Warzone?
Warzone.
Yeah,
It would be
I
like-
guess it was a little more like
It'd be like
that.
A, B, C down to do a DDT or something,
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be like just hold a direction and hit a button kind of thing.
One of my favorite wrestling games is WWE All Stars.
I never
Talking
played
about-
that, but I
Really?
remember. I remember when it came out, I wanted to because it
Oh
looked
my
like it was a
God.
throwback to
Well,
the
it
old
had
style.
Yeah, well, it's much different. It's very much its own game.
It's
but it's like
it's like the
it's
midway
over exaggerated.
version.
It's like a fighting game, like one of the closest ways to being like a true fighting game. A lot of the games they make aren't like a lot like that. But you can like, some people can like juggle. There's certain things, like one thing I loved in any game where you can do it is like an RKO could be hit out of nowhere. That's like the best thing. Also, I'm just noticing these blobs are wearing the Krusty Krab uniform.
Oh.
Um,
So yeah,
but-
you could hit it out of like what do you mean?
right. So like,
any move basically.
so like, let's say somebody's like doing a back body drop. You could, and it's like a triple threat match, and you like queue up the RKO. You could like catch them out of the air, or like if they go to do like a flying headbutt, you did it right. You could catch them with an RKO.
It was very much like the alley-oop function from NBA Jam.
But you gotta let me stay. Please.
You're under arrest.
no,
In a way, where it's like
a
the-
little bit, yeah.
pretend the person is the ball. It's like, oh, they're up in the air. You can jump up and RKO them now.
Well, no, I mean it was like you could do it anytime, and then your guy would like track to them as long as they were open. But it didn't have to be just like a grapple and hit your finisher like some other guys as well.
Right. I'm saying, yeah. Never mind.
I know what you mean. You're talking kind of, that's like how the newer games are. It's like, oh, the guy's doing this and you have a finisher stored. Do you want to use your, like, you can do your finisher right now. With
Yeah,
the right,
like if you hit the button right now in this specific circumstance, you can jump up and do it, kind of thing. I don't know. I never played WWE All Stars, but I wanted
should
to
play it after.
because, like, I don't know if
Maybe.
you heard me say that, but it's like the midway version
Oh, for sure.
of wrestling, which
Yeah.
always was like, yeah, why don't we have games like that every year? It's like a match made in
wish,
heaven,
man.
like.
It's because in like NBA Street and stuff like that, it's because for one, sports games and wrestling games for the most part are monopolized.
Yeah.
It's like 2K can only make wrestling games and
Right.
not basketball because I think that's kind of open, but nobody makes games. But like football can only be made by EA, and soccer can be made by like a couple, but then they're missing certain licenses. And I
and
loved
there's
back
only-
when it was just like there was like 8 different football games on
Right.
PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and I used to play all of them. And then there was like NFL Fever on like Dreamcast, or not Dreamcast. I think I remember playing on Xbox, original Xbox.
NFL Fever. I don't even
Yeah.
know that one. I know.
Peyton was on the cover of it. I remember it.
That sounds familiar.
Just
actually.
it was like very green and using the black and white buttons and stuff.
I think I remember the cover for that. Now that you said Peyton was on it, but
Yeah.
I remember too. Yeah, there was like there's a lot of baseball games that were like only around for a couple years, but
Yeah.
of course, Ken Griffey's baseball.
I played that. Uh-huh.
That was like originally
That game
on
had
the
good
Super
cheats.
Nintendo,
Games
and then
used to have fun cheats.
and then eventually they made a couple on the N64. But there was like Ken Griffey's. I know even into the like later time there was like MVP baseball and like fast. There was one called Fast Pitch, I think. Like
yeah, that sounds right.
there was like all these other games, and I remember getting, if I got a chance to play each one, it would be like, oh, this one has like this feature. Like they weren't all like one for one the same thing, like
Right.
they would be on like different engines or different, they would look totally different from each
Exactly,
other,
and
have
would
different
play different.
players. Yeah, right.
So
It was
good.
like, oh wow, in this one, I remember one of them, the pitching was like more than just pressing a button. Like you had to like hold it and time it. And I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like it's just funny how gaming has changed in that way, and it's not necessarily better or worse now. I don't think, because it's not like there aren't great games coming out these days, especially on the indie side of things. I would say,
Yeah.
Trying to think of like some indie games that I've like really enjoyed, but
Here, we'll get into indie games. I just want to real quick, since so much is happening here, update what's happened. So basically, we stopped the train that Mr. Krabs was using to take all the cactus juice away from the town, and we brought him back to the regular world, and he's, not a bandit anymore. And now we're gonna help Plankton move the chum bucket back up.
ooh, fun.
Yeah, indie games. I love indie games.
I wanted to say too, because I assume you've probably played this before, but this game, for some reason, like the environment and the colors and everything, and the way it plays, I guess, kind of reminds me of Toy Story 2.
Oh yeah, love
remember
Toy
that
Story
one?
2.
I haven't played
PlayStation
that
1.
in forever. So I had it. I never had it, but I would rent it on the N64, and yeah, that was a cool game. I would love to go back and play that. Like I have great memories of.
Yeah,
playing
I
that.
turned my Xbox into an emulator, and I have that game again.
Wow. I remember
good.
it just being a little bit too hard for me, like certain parts, but I was little, so
I also used to really like The Grinch on PlayStation 1.
I never played
What
that.
the? I gotta jump at the end of the bubble thing?
Jeez,
Come on.
I swear if you miss
I'm
this
worse.
one more time.
I'm worse than you.
Yeah, you suck. Yeah, but it's I don't know.
I used to play the hell out of shit games.
like
like
what's for instance?
The Grinch.
That's shitty.
I mean, probably. I used to go back and play it a lot because I just liked the way it felt. And
Sure.
hey, there's Old Man Jenkins.
Oh yeah, see, and that is how he looks in that one.
Yeah, he looks like the prospector. And so he was that in the cosmic version. It was Old Man Jenkins.
Right.
People are actually gonna eat there. It looks like because the Krusty Krab's still down.
Well, Old Man, if anyone's eating at the Chum Bucket, I'd say it probably is Old Man Jenkins,
Yeah.
because, old people like to eat, fucking organs and shit. Like the Liver King.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see anything about the, streaming controversy?
Oh
with
yeah. I mean I used to watch Atriarch every so often. He's friends with Ludwig.
Because you like Ludwig?
Yeah.
I didn't realize anything about but I saw that, Ludwig made a video about Karate outfit, nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a fucking thing.
I mean, it one part of me doesn't even want to bring it up too much. 'Cause
Oh
if
yeah.
You, just
I mean, I don't
because
have a
of
lot to say about it.
The content of it is something if somebody knows that exists,
Right.
the right person.
I've seen
might
that. I've seen
perpetuate
people
it.
say that. It's almost bad to talk about. But I think you do kind of have to. I'm not saying we have to. I'm just saying
Oh look, they're all rooting for me.
at some point it needs to be addressed by somebody, I just think the whole thing though, it's weird. I won't even talk about it really, other than I was talking to Selby about it because they don't know really they don't know, they didn't hear about it or anything.
Same with
and I was just
Alyssa.
so this thing happened. And I was in a way, it's almost worse than cheating on your wife, I feel like.
It's definite. Well, I mean, I don't
it's
know.
hard. It's hard to put one over.
Jeez, now if nobody knows what it is that we're talking about, they'll be so confused. Should we
Well-
just say kind of the gist? That it
No,
was,
I don't even think we have to. I
Right.
think it's fine. You can look up Atriarch controversy and find it out if
I
you're
think
interested.
He's done the most he can to
Atone?
but it's it's still just such a situation.
I was just thinking
complex.
I was just thinking about how, because I don't know the guy, but I guess part of his image is that him and his wife are super in love or whatever. They're very, it's a wholesome sort of image that
Wasn't
he's
that the
had.
case with that one guy, From that one group that I'd never heard of, everyone was like, "Did you hear that one guy
The Try
cheated on it?"
Guys?
Yeah, that's it.
So I'm the Try Guys is new to me also, but Selby is very like loved the Try Guys.
Real
And we
quick,
started watching their
Red
videos.
carpet. We're on the red carpet. We rolled out. We're in karate gear. Pearl is getting us somewhere. That's what's going on.
Okay, we're on the red carpet.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Filming.
yeah. The Try Guys are very funny. They're like super, super funny. It's like it's actually good, fucking funny content.
Yeah.
But yeah, that guy cheated on his wife, whatever, and that was the thing. And it's funny because all the videos I've seen with him, almost once per video, he's like, "My
Love my
beautiful
wife."
wife and kids." Yeah, like just out of nowhere. Like it's like, oh, that was your thing. So I get why
Yeah.
that makes it worse.
Look at the
But-
texture.
But
Stills.
the other thing about this Atriox situation is it's like I feel like it would be different if he just like fucked some woman and was like, "I fucked up," like because I feel like that's a more like human mistake to make, if that makes sense. Like what this guy did, and if you don't know, look it up, Atriox.
Now we're saying it so much, I feel like we're...
No, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
fine
yeah.
because I'm about to stop talking about it. I'm just saying like
I don't know. It's definitely a
it's a
complicated...
bad situation that he
I've
put
never heard
himself
of
in.
anything like it.
Yeah.
It's definitely complicated.
I would say like, his career, is basically over with at this point. Because
know
it's
about
it's a hard thing to come back from. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not saying people will like, but it'll follow him the rest of his life. Is all I'm
Yeah,
saying.
for sure. He'll be known as that guy.
Yeah.
And he even brought that up, but it's like, yeah, I mean that, don't wank where you work,
Yeah, it's a bad situation for all involved. I mean, especially whatever. But we'll stop talking about it. It's such a weird thing, and it doesn't matter to us here at all. But it's like just been a
Yeah, if you're in the
timely
know,
thing
then,
that
Yeah,
people have been talking about.
and how technology can be used for evil.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to find the director to film some scene or something.
Yeah,
Karate.
sometimes not everything is for just because it exists doesn't mean it is good.
Yeah,
or okay.
I always think of like, like how cool would it be that if any moment, you could like log into something with your webcam and like meet somebody else from around the world and have a genuine like conversation, and it's like what a cool thing that could be. And then in actuality, it's like just dudes jerking off. It's
Yeah.
chat roulette, Omegle, whatever.
Right.
It's like it could be something cool, but humanity always takes technology and makes the worst of it. It seems like.
Yeah. I mean, people are just the worst, man. Like, for every good person, or every, well-mannered person, there's, 10 bad ones.
It's like, to join most of these programs for, AI art and stuff, if you want to, be a part of it, it's like, hey, you can't make things with, people being naked or, getting killed and stuff. And it's shouldn't be a thing that you have to say. Kind of fucked up for someone to be like, can I get a naked and dead this guy or something getting his head blown off? It's like, AI art for that, we could do so much with it. And
Right.
you always got to put stuff in place because people ruin it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, that's why we can never, live in a harmonious
Utopia.
society, right? It'll
Yeah.
always be fucked up because there'll always be some asshole fucking it up.
And now most of them are the ones we put in charge of our politics and stuff. Oh, this guy is crazy. He's like a workout dude. He's holding a couch
He's like
or an ottoman?
he's like a mutated workout Isabel from
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing. He has the
Yeah.
same haircut as Isabel.
Some people think she's a dog. You believe that? Turns out
You're
she.
saying she's a belle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew about the Isabel thing years ago. It's not new to me.
Yeah. Well, I said it before I ever heard of it. So Screw you, guy.
You said it before you ever heard of it?
Yeah, like I never heard anyone else say it. It was just something dumb I said. Now I say sometimes when people bring up Isabel.
What do you
This
mean?
guy's tough. That she is a bell and not a dog.
Well, she is a bell. Like, her design and everything.
Right, but she's also a dog. It's just a play on words. Isabel.
She's a fucking dog. But she's also a bell.
Yeah.
Isabel.
Katata Fish is also a wizard and also a friend.
Katata fish.
Suck,
Oh, dude, there's a
asshole.
sweet concert.
That thing had handsome, beautiful Squidward on it.
Handsome, beautiful Squidward.
Yeah.
There's a sweet concert coming.
See?
It's Les Claypool's Fearless Flying
He's the
Frog
director.
Brigade. He's the director. Oh my God, it's beautiful Squidward.
Who's Frog Brigade?
Les Claypool.
Brigade? Oh, okay.
You know who that is?
Yes, from Primus.
Yes. So he has a lot of other bands, but they're coming to Royal Oak Music Theater in like a few months. And they're also touring the world. So if you're listening, or not the world, but I think the USA, but so like see if they're coming to your town if this interests you. But they're playing, so it's cool too because the guitar player for the Frog Brigade is Sean Lennon, which is the
John Lennon's son.
the spawn of John and Yoko. So
It is?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So they're their only begotten son together. So that's kind of cool to be able to see him live, and they're playing
We're about to be filmed.
they're playing Animals by Pink Floyd, the whole album.
Uh-huh.
So that's like a really cool thing.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Because if you're not in the know, Animals by Pink Floyd is a really sweet album. And they're going to play it, and it's going to be cool. I'm excited
yeah.
to see that. There's a few shows I got tickets for, including Ween, which is funny too. I was talking to someone about Ween the other day and like my podcast and stuff, and it's just kind of funny how like this podcast sort of ignited my interest in that band.
Right.
And now it's like, even years later, it's like my favorite thing. So, very cool.
Yeah.
And we got to see them together, which was
Right.
kind of a cool poetic justice at work sort of thing.
Yeah. Because of the show.
Yeah. Man, they're the best. They make me so happy. I can't wait to see them again. But yeah, that and I might go see NoFX down in Columbus this summer.
Yeah.
Summer. Oh, dude. Action.
Yeah. Action. Oh, I'm fighting. It's more like Turtles in Time camera.
It's a fight scene.
I'm going to see Blink 182 and Turnstile.
Oh, when's that?
I think in May or something.
How much were the tickets for that? They were expensive, right?
Yeah, it was about $100.
Oh, that's not so bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Where it's at LCA?
We got like 10 of
or-
us going.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's at LCA, which I was just at for a Pistons game this last weekend.
I still haven't seen a show there.
I've seen
Little
many.
Caesars original.
Tool and Gorillas.
Little Caesars
Tool twice.
Arena.
Tool twice and Gorillas.
I
probably
went
it.
there. I went there when I was working for the closet company. I did some jobs there, so
When you were
I've
deeply
been
closeted?
in there. I just haven't seen a show there. Travis Scott was going to be there one of those days. I was there.
Very cool. Would have been nice to, come
Tell him-
close to death.
Tell him to like figure out how to not let people die
Yeah.
at shows. Yeah, this was before all that, obviously. He was like brand new to the scene, and he was
Right.
already at LCA.
And they call them Cactus Jack.
You know, it's funny because Travis Titan, that was like
Stunning performance.
when we were trying to come up with our wrestling names. He was
Yeah.
like, I think I might do Travis Scott.
And you're like, bro, that's a guy.
No, he literally wasn't a guy yet.
Oh.
Like he wasn't around yet. He only like came about like a year after that, maybe.
Got the coin.
And it was just funny because I remember being like, wow, Travis Scott. That could have been Travis Titan.
Right,
I also think
yeah.
it's funny that Travis Titan kept the name Travis Titan the whole time.
Yeah, me
Because
too.
he literally made that up on the spot.
Right. Yeah, I think of Freedom Ramsey too. I love Freedom's gimmick. He's definitely a local guy, but
Right.
yeah, love that whole thing.
Yeah, no, Freedom really it seemed like it took him a little while, but he like figured it out.
Uh-huh.
You know, how to like embrace his like just
Charisma.
Yeah, 'cause-
Something to funnel it, a way to funnel it.
yeah, because he like was such like he had such like a silly likeness about him, but he was trying to act like a serious wrestler,
Right.
you know, and it was like, dude, you're like a silly guy. You got to figure out a way to, you know, show that, and you know, eventually he did.
Loved it. Yeah, I don't know. You know, it's like,
I drove by the school the other day,
Oh yeah.
and they were in there.
That's
But
funny.
I was getting weed because there's a lot of the closest dispensaries to my house are right by the school.
Oh,
So,
that's interesting.
yeah, because there's a lot of dispensaries in Detroit that are close to my house, but none of them are recreational. They're all medical. And I think that's a
Yeah.
Detroit city thing.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I've thought about, of course, I always think about going back to wrestling, but I don't know. I'm definitely not in the shape for it right
Well,
now.
I think the first step is just going to the school like every so often and just
Or at least
rolling around, you know.
go to the gym more and
Well,
become
that too.
physically a little more ready for
But I
it.
think just like
And then the school, yeah.
I think just getting in the ring and being like, yeah, guys, I'm out of shape. Like, I'll just like do a little bit of roll, like some
Yeah.
rolls and some, you know, run
was
run
just
the
like-
ropes a little bit.
You know, that the whole psychology behind the whole thing just has me like a little messed up still. You know, we were so like brainwashed into thinking one particular way. And,
Well, I was.
you know, the school was like a toxic place. You know, you had to like watch every single thing you did, everything you said. That's how I felt. I was like, you know, Paul is just looking for
Yeah.
a reason to like berate me and
Well, Paul
you know, like,
was the worst offender of that, and as far as I can tell, it's really not like that anymore. Like, because I know Sean Tyler is like one of the
yeah,
main trainers
and it
now.
seems like Martin's there a lot more.
Yeah, and right. See, we were there at like the perfectly wrong time. Like, if
Right,
we had
the
waited
end of
another
that-
year or
yeah.
like done it a year earlier, we would have been fine, and
Yeah.
had like not Paul Bowser as the only guy in our
But
ear.
we wouldn't have had Doug, which, you know.
That's true.
thank
We
God
did at
we
least
did.
get Doug out of
Yeah.
the deal. And not that Paul is even like, I do have a place in my heart for Paul because I know for the most part he meant well with what he was doing. He's just fucking brain damaged.
Yeah. Unfortunate. Ooh, karate kick. We are learning some new
Nice.
stuff. I like it.
Well, yeah, that is a function of the other game too, where
Oh,
you
okay.
not this exact thing, I don't think, but where you learn moves as you go.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a Mario 64 thing, even though you have everything from the beginning of Mario 64, you do have to unlock the hats at least.
Yeah. This has a Metroid type thing. It was first done in Metroid, at least
Right.
popularly, where you like I've been seeing certain things in the levels where it's stuff that I don't have the moveset to do.
Well, I would say the first time
And,
this was really done in the 3D realm, at least like popularly, was Banjo-Kazooie. That's sort of Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. But where like you're like, "Oh, I can't wait to learn that and come back and do this thing," you know.
Right.
And this has some of that.
And that
I like
is
it.
that is a Metroid thing too. You're right.
That was
But
where
I think,
it
like,
originated. Metroid the original.
they didn't
right?
do that. Yeah, they didn't like. As far as I recall, and I mean, I'm somewhat of a historian on the era, so like, I would say as far as like in a platformer like this though, like a 3D platformer, it was Banjo-Kazooie was the one to really take
Yeah, the
that,
most
and
popular.
then DK64 took it and made it almost too much of that.
Yeah.
where it's like. You have
But-
to come back to every level like 3 times to get everything. Like,
But like you were saying in Mario 64 too, I think the piece of it that's in there, while you have like all the moves, it's seeing the different colored boxes, and they were doing that since Super Mario World, you know. as far as like, look, there's
right,
the blue
right.
box. You just don't have them unlocked.
And that
yet.
that was more Mario's way of doing that.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. There's
instead of it being tied to an ability, like the
right.
other
You
two
need to
games,
learn a new move, right? Which
Feel even spongier.
and then see that's the thing. They didn't know where to stop with that because then in Banjo-Tooie, still a great game, but it's too much. Like that game takes forever because you have to keep going back and forth, switching out abilities, and it just it's still fun, but it takes way too much time to get through. Whereas you can still get through the first game in like a few hours if you've played it before,
Right.
Whereas it's not like that with 2E or DK64. Those games, it's like designed so no, you have to do as much as you can here, then go here, and then come back here, and then go there again, and then come back here again. It's like with the idea of making the game longer and not having you being able to beat it in a day.
Yeah.
Like that was like the idea. Like we got to stretch this experience out, so
What
people
the? I
aren't
got killed.
beating shit in a day and then they're done with it.
Exactly, and that's what gave us the era of insanely hard Disney games because they're like the Lion King.
Well,
and,
that's the way they dealt with it in previous generations. In
Yeah.
the N64 generation, it's like, oh, let's just add more and more shit. Also make it harder. But in like NES and SNES, it's like, let's make these games nigh impossible to play. If
Especially
you don't know
right from the get-go.
Yeah, if you don't know exactly what's going to happen. And even though like those games were beloved and whatever for their time, it's just sort of an outdated way of doing that, where it's like it's a memory game, it's like you got to remember this enemy is here, and then after you make this jump you got to make sure to duck because there's going to be a thing flying,
like Dragon's Lair was exactly that,
yeah, I mean
because it was
Dragon's
like you
Lair
have to
was
remember
that, but
left, right,
also
left,
Dragon's Lair was randomized though too,
Yeah, but then it was.
so it was more of like quick time events than actual
Yeah, I guess there's
memorization.
different versions of it too.
Yeah, because as I understand, like, it's Dragon's Lair wasn't the same every time you played.
One of the versions I played of it, it was like you'd play it on the TV on like a disc, and that
yeah.
one was like, it was always the same. So you had to like, oh yeah, remember to go right and then left.
So
and like
yeah,
see it visually.
I mean, I'm not an expert on Dragon's Lair, but I do believe the original arcade it was randomized, so it was
That's
more
cool.
like quick time events where it was
Yeah.
like you just had to know which rooms, what to do in which rooms in order to survive, basically.
Yeah.
So you had to memorize. You did have to memorize it, but in a different kind of way.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, not like what I was talking about, where it's like, whatever. And it's not even bad necessarily. Like, but I will say,
Coffee bowl. It's shaped like a.
even going back and playing like
Coffee.
Donkey Kong Country, it's like, man, some of these levels, like, it's like some of these jumps, like you really got to be ready for them, especially in the, like,
Oh,
the
yeah.
minecart levels.
Oh,
like, it's
yeah.
so easy to fuck up over and over and over again.
Look at that picture of him.
Gee whiz.
That's amazing.
Beautiful SpongeBob.
That could be the like art for the episode.
Sure. It's
Rip it off
perfect.
it. It is so nice. It's crazy.
All right. Well, I mean,
Yeah, this game's pretty good so far.
it looks fun. I would like to play it. I know Selby has Battle for Bikini Bottom on their Switch, so hopefully I can just play that and
Oh.
get satisfied. Oh,
What
he
the?
did the thing.
Yeah, he's doing the weird face.
I'm a
the bird.
chicken.
Yeah. And then what's his next pose? Just, yeah, right.
Oh,
He's doing the surprise Patrick face. Imagination. Okay, I like it. I'm basically finding paparazzi and doing taking posed pictures.
that's
with them.
extremely silly. Are we? So we're still on the movie set.
Yeah.
This looks like it is from the other game, though, to me. But I don't think it is.
All right, what do we got here?
Wait, did we go into a portal?
Imagine. No.
Oh.
That's what that one was. Okay.
What's up, Sponge? That was kind of the voice that
Yeah.
guy did. All right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of cool stuff in this game.
It's a nice. It really is a nice looking game. Like it really looks. It looks great. And I just loved. I remember like with Battle for Bikini Bottom. I never owned it, unfortunately, but I did rent it and I played through a lot of it on PS2. I played all the SpongeBob games that were available to me because SpongeBob was a huge part of my life. And
Same. Except I didn't play the games as much.
so playing Battle for Bikini Bottom, and it was like, wow, this is like Mario, but it's SpongeBob. This is amazing.
Right.
Like it was the
Yeah.
coolest thing, you know. It was such a cool feeling. I always wanted that one, Battle for Bikini Bottom. I remember there was a SpongeBob PlayStation 2 controller. Did you ever see that or remember it at all?
Doesn't sound that familiar.
Like
I
it
can't
had
picture it
a-
in my head.
It was yellow, obviously, and it had his face in the middle, and like his nose. It had like a plastic nose that stuck off of it.
Really? That's
Yeah.
cool.
I never owned it, but I remember it, and I wanted it, obviously. I remember a kid I knew had it, but I never went to his house. We
Yeah.
went to school together, and he would tell me about it.
That's cool.
Yeah. Actually, I think he like wrote a poem about it in English class. I think that's why I remember it, because I thought that was cringe even back then.
Sorry, mashing buttons. Yeah, I think before we close, either before our outro or after, we should like rapid fire games that were influential to us. You want to do
Well,
it before or after?
So, I mean, I've already touched on a few of them. You know, Mario 64, of course. I would say
But I mean, just rapid fire, no like explanation, just like, you know.
I would say Snowboard Kids as well. I think, yeah, the snowboarding genre was really big for me. I mean, I would say SSX is also one of my very favorite series I've ever played. And those are the games I go back to. See, the thing is like anything I can go back to, I feel like those are my favorite games, you know?
Right,
Like,
yeah.
and it's not even necessarily a conscious choice for me anymore. It's like just whatever I'm feeling, and I'm like, you know what? I really want to play this. Like that
Right.
just feels right.
Uh-huh.
Like, and Banjo-Kazooie is definitely up there for me. I didn't even talk about that because that was another big part of
This is a cool scene.
the whole me being afraid of the eel in Mario. Like there's the shark and Clanker, the whale in Clanker
Yeah,
looks like a shark, but they call him a whale. But it made me so afraid of ever going in the water in any game. And then
Right.
Jack
Water
and
levels were
Daxter.
just so bad anyway.
Jack and Daxter furthered that, because in Jack and Daxter, if you go in the water at the first level, a fish eventually like comes up and eats you.
Yeah.
And it was like, I just had such a phobia of water. That's like I talk about that with people a lot when it comes to video games, because it's just funny to me to look back on. Honestly, even these days, like even in like Skyrim or
Now I'm playing whack-a-mole.
what's it called? The Fallout games, like anything where it's like, yeah, you have to swim now. I'm like, I just don't even want to do that part. I'll just
I
like
have to
skip
kick.
it.
I have to kick. Oops.
But yeah, I would say Halo 3 especially for
I can't
me.
kick. It won't let me. Oh, I have to jump. Oops, I'm just doing awful.
Halo 3 was a big one for me. Pokemon, obviously huge. I would say like Pokemon Red, and then
Oh yeah.
later
Yellow as well for
later
me.
on, Pokemon X was really big for me, which is kind of a weird one, but I played the shit out of Pokemon X, like a lot. And Stardew. I mean, I put hundreds of hours into Stardew. Animal Crossing, the OG Animal Crossing.
Same.
I mean, Mario Kart. I mean, where would I be without Mario Kart? Like, if we're really being honest, you know? Like,
yeah.
that's
for sure.
huge
Mario Kart
game.
64 specifically.
Definitely, right. And I mean, Double Dash too. Even though I'm not
I
like,
wasn't as big on it, but yeah.
I mean, me neither, but it's a great game. Mario in general. I would say Mario and the Mario family of games have been probably the most important to me, though.
Yeah. been huge for me as well.
But they're all. I mean, games are pretty great.
I see them as like, I see movies in a specific way where I feel like even if it's not exactly the stuff I'm interested in, I like seeing what people who like it would see in it. Try to look at it for the things that it does well instead of the things that it doesn't. And games, I feel like that are too. I liked even games like Sneak King from Burger King, where you have to sneak up and give people Whoppers. That game was kind of cool.
I never played it, but I remember that. The Sneak King, and there was like a kart racer.
Yeah, it was like a little
bikes.
Yeah,
mini bikes. And there was a third one. Sneak King, there was a racer.
Yeah, those
and
were the
was
two
like,
I had. I remember there was one other. I don't remember though.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, honestly, too, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, like, I don't think any of my interest in, like, skateboarding culture as a whole would exist as
Tony
much
Hawk.
without that game. And
Oh yeah.
that game was hugely influential on my taste in music. And I think we have talked
Yeah.
about that in the past on the podcast, too.
Yeah, wrestling games too. Wrestling games had a lot of cool music.
I would say less so for me as far as wrestling games when it comes to music,
Wait, I
but
can't-
wrestling games definitely, I think, took my interest in wrestling and made it 10 times bigger. Like, I don't think I could fully, I don't know, somehow, especially when I was young, I don't think I could fully understand wrestling until I like played it in a video game. Like,
Yeah.
I think that kind of helped me learn the rules. I think that helped me learn the rules of baseball too.
Yeah,
honestly.
a lot of
Like,
sports and stuff like that.
Like, it's very these.
That's how I learned a lot of the players was from sports games.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I remember. I definitely remember instances where like my dad would be like, "How do you know who that is?"
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "Oh, it's from the video game,"
Right.
And like, yeah, I feel like a lot of that stuff, it was as much a part of my learning experience as anything else, maybe more than anything.
Right.
Video games, and Crazy Taxi, I know that was like, I was obsessed with The Offspring for a long time, and it was 100% because they had their song in Crazy Taxi. Like, 1,000,000%. That's why I listened to them at first, And it's just funny to see how these things
Hey, they drew
shape
over
our
Squidward's
lives.
face.
Hey, how dare they? Beautiful Squidward. So this is definitely like the downtown area. I
That's a movie
recognize
set,
this.
though.
Yeah, but it's the movie set version. But it's I believe it's the same, or at least
I'm saving
pretty much
people.
the same as the Battle for Bikini Bottom version, just
Yeah.
movie setified. So that's really cool. I like that they took the same environments but changed them.
Yeah. Give you, a little like nod to the people who played that. one.
Right. It's a good, like, a nice level of familiarity there. That was something I always loved too in video games, when you'd be playing and then it's like, oh, this is like it used to be, but it's different now.
Yeah, but only people who played before could get the appreciation,
Like Banjo-Tooie had a lot of that. Where
Yeah.
it's like, oh, look, it's Spiral Mountain, but everything's a little different now. And
Or like Crash, right? Oh, it's like the polar bear, but as a tiger.
Yeah, right, for sure. I guess, yeah, I don't know. Video games are just cool.
Yeah.
I would say to a lesser extent, but
Thanks to my genius, your performance.
I'd say games like Portal and like
Oh yeah.
that era where it was like, oh, there's like these first-person games that aren't even necessarily shooters, or it's like a puzzle, I do love puzzle games.
Did
too.
you ever
That's
play Old
another-
Yeller, the first-person shooter?
No.
Oh.
What's that? You shoot Old Yeller?
Yeah, that's it. It's just a joke.
Oh.
Also,
It's not a real game.
Heroin is a first-person shooter.
Heroin Hero?
Yeah.
Guitar Hero was huge too, but
Oh, yeah.
I almost don't think of those as like.
This whole thing is in slow motion.
Yeah, because it's a slow-mo action
Yeah.
shot. That's cool.
K-A-R. A. Over the limos and the red carpet.
Yeah, the crowd's going wild.
T.
Karate.
E. Oh, you know what this game reminds me of that's a really cool game is Beautiful Joe.
I knew you were going to say that.
I love that game on GameCube.
I played
For
it
me.
once, and then I rented it. I remember I got to a point where I couldn't beat it and never played it again. But it was
nerd.
cool. I love the style.
That's how Final Fantasy was for me. Final Fantasy X.
Um,
It just happened to be the first 5 minutes of it I couldn't get
Remember why
past.
you're there.
To get me
In
more
Tomb Raider.
Don't you mean to
yeah,
I was too young.
right.
Okay, my turn. You've
Look,
listed
it's
off games.
what's his name?
Oh, the karate guy.
Yeah.
The Confucius karate.
Voice-
Karate King Island.
Voiced
thing.
by Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah. Okay, I would say Sonic Adventure 2. Spent an insane amount of time playing those. Obviously, the Pokemon games, Pokemon Stadium, Pokemon Snap. You know, I could still beat Pokemon Snap within an hour. No like speed running techniques, just playing it.
The Pokemon Snap speedrun is fucking funny. Have you ever
Yeah,
seen
they like
stuff
always
about it?
look away because it goes faster and doesn't render
Well, there's
them
certain
and-
like levels where you just enter and just take a picture and like immediately
leave.
exit out.
Yeah,
There's a whole lot of weird shit in there. But yeah, Pokemon Snap was cool. Yeah.
Let's see. Mortal Kombat, definitely. Played a lot of Mortal Kombat games. Was never huge into like Street Fighter and stuff, but I always played them. Dragon Ball Z games, I mean, I've played pretty much every one that I could.
Budokai 3 is really the main one for me.
For me, it's Budokai Tenkaichi 3. That one was amazing, both on Wii and on PS2.
Yeah, that one, I just like in Budokai 3 how you're actually like playing through the story and like you're
Yeah,
like,
but I feel like that's like every game.
but that one did it the best. And they almost like made it open world for the time, like in a way, you know. It was like as close as it could be at that point.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's better experiences now, but
I
at
just
the time
love the gameplay
that was
of
the best.
Tenkaichi 3.
Well, also
And it had,
Budokai
like,
3 was
every-
before Tenkaichi 3.
Right, of course. Tenkaichi 3 had pretty much every character who'd ever been on the show.
That was, and I do have the Wii version of it as well, but I didn't like using the GameCube controller for it. But
On the Wii version, you can do it where you actually have to flail your arms. That's
yeah,
how I played
but
it.
that's nobody wants to do that. No,
I did. I liked
nowadays.
it. You wanna
you
Kamehameha?
wanted to do it then, but you wouldn't want to do it now.
As a man once told me, an old man, about why he didn't want to buy the Wii, he said, I need to save my energy for things that are important, like eating cereal and pooping.
Yeah.
That's what he told me when he came to look for the new Zelda game, and I told him he had to buy a Wii to play it.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't, or it was
It was-
Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
Oh,
he had
that
played
sucks.
Twilight Princess, I think.
He had already played it. Still never played Twilight Princess. I haven't played Skyward Sword though either.
Yeah, I played them somewhat. Not my all-time favorites. Let's see. Definitely No Mercy.
I would say
Love
on
No
just
Mercy.
like a quick note for me, like a more recent game that's really stood out as like
Unicycle.
special for me is Breath of the Wild. Like I love Breath of the Wild, and that's a game I can get totally fucking consumed by.
I like it a lot. There's just a couple things about it I don't like. One is how like confusing it is, you know? It like does such little hand holding to make it like so open and you can do anything in your own way. But it's like sometimes I get lost and don't know what to do. Other than that, you know, that
I
you
definitely
spend
never feel that way.
You
playing
spend
that.
so much time in the pause menu because like your weapons are always breaking. You're having to like hurry up and consume things.
Yeah, I mean
But those are just my downsides. I
You
think there's so
definitely-
many good things that they
I mean,
do.
they do have like quick menus that kind of make it so you don't have to pause. But
What am I missing?
I'm not sure what you're supposed to do here.
I thought it just said A to jump. And
I think it's
I can't
great,
jump
and
anymore.
I like how much. I don't know. I like the things that you said about it. So it's funny
Sure.
how that works, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
For me, it's like I wanna get like a sword and be able to use it, not have to.
I
like,
will say
make a
the
new
weapon
one.
breaking as frequently as it does is a little bit wild. I mean,
What am I doing wrong here?
so I think
Did I miss something
you're supposed to probably land on those guys, or you tried that already?
on the
tiki
guys down
guys?
below?
No, the tiki guys off to the side.
Oh no, that hurts me.
It does, huh?
Some of them.
Ooh, more jelly.
Oh, okay. I can hold aim longer. Okay.
Classic.
Maniac who loves barbecue.
Jeez. Driver was pretty cool. I love that game. Stuntman Ignition. I talked about it not long ago.
Featuring
But, oh my god.
The Funimation
All Might?
cast.
Yeah. This reminds me of a video game I made. If you want to check out games I've made, go to mainunited.com.
A little dabble do.
Yeah, Super Mario Strikers. Mario 64 though, untouchable. Rugrats, Search for Reptar. What are some other huge ones? I mean, the Rugrats game on the PC when I was young. Oh my god. Jumpstart first grade. Jumpstart third grade.
I
those
remember
ones? Love the
Jumpstart first grade.
Jumpstarts.
Yeah, I remember there's a thing where you can like make. You have to like put ingredients into the machine and it'll make like a cake or a pizza or something.
Uh-huh.
That was like huge
You could
for
like
me.
serve people and give them change and stuff. And then
Right.
you know,
right.
like I'm just so lucky in a way that that my mom, you know, she finding out later she wasn't super thrilled about getting me vaccinated, but definitely was like saw the value of using video games for education, for things like Math Blaster and
Yeah, we had a Math
That.
Blaster. Yeah.
so then I have to do that and then that. Oh my god. It's not locking onto the right ones.
I remember playing the OG Math Blaster, like, because there was one. I don't know. It's funny because I just remember at my preschool, that's like where I played a lot of video games for the first time. Because like either like a kid would bring in their like Sega Genesis or something,
Yeah.
or because it was like a preschool / daycare for like kids out of preschool. So there was like older kids there too. And like, yeah, especially in the summertime, like they would like let them bring in their video games and play for like an hour or whatever.
That's cool.
And like I remember, and that was like literally like first time I played Mario, first time I played Sonic. Like I was little,
Really?
like 3, you know, like
That's
3 years
cool,
old.
yeah.
Like, and I remember
I like the Beavis and Butthead game too on Super Nintendo.
I never played it, but I know
I
that
played it a lot. I used to play it on emulator too when I was like in high school.
that style of game, whatever that is, it's like a weird type of platformer where you're like inside of a box, kind of. If that
Yeah,
makes sense.
uh-huh,
There was
yeah.
a lot of games like that, though.
Yeah, like Mario's Gone Missing, if you've ever played that. Awful game.
I never played that, but I'm thinking like there's a game called Bob, B-O-B. It's like a robot guy, and like the Wayne's World game was like that, where it's like there's multiple levels, like you're going up and down ladders, and like you're in a room basically.
Yeah.
You're not like in a open environment. Not that you ever were, but they have everything boxed off in a way. And like you have to find the right things before you can leave the level or whatever.
You know what game was great for me? Krusty Super Fun House. Oh my god, I've played more games of Simpsons than I've watched of it, 1000%. The most thing I've seen of it is the movie, and then second would be the games. Look at that guy, he's all fucked up. That's a cool
I love that
picture.
they're giving that they do this. This is a
Yeah.
funny way to reward you.
Right, it's like with art, but it's like stuff that's actually cool to see.
And his choice for the villain? Wow.
That's the paparazzo.
They're like close-up paintings for the
Yeah.
listeners. They do
Right,
like
it's-
from the show, like the close-ups that they do.
Like some of them are like the grotesque, overly detailed ones. Krusty Super Funhouse though, or whatever on Super Nintendo is kind of like Lemmings, where you had to like get the rats to where they had to go, but it was a puzzler. And then Simpsons Wrestling and Simpsons, Hit and Run and.
Well, Hit and Run and Road Rage were
Yeah.
the ones I played a lot.
I actually didn't play those that much, but I did play them. Mostly because I was like, yeah, I get it. I played Crazy Taxi.
Well, Hit and Run was a bit different.
That
but-
was,
but
yeah.
Road Rage.
I wanted to
was-
say San Andreas.
Road Rage was just a direct ripoff of Crazy Taxi.
Right. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and Saints Row 1. Oh my God, the multiplayer on Saints Row 1. My gang was second place in the world.
Whoa.
I don't remember if we ever got to first, but we basically were part of the gang that was first, and then we got kicked out, made our own gang, and we were like second. And it was just so much fun. It was me and my cousins, so it's like a family. I mean, it was like not blood cousin, but my cousin's cousin in a way. But it was just so much fun. Games where you like build camaraderie with people and like remember playing it together. I love that. Like I'll never forget us playing Goof Troop, which is also one of my favorite games.
Yeah, the old Goof Troop.
Yeah, somewhere I think on the YouTube there is a video of us playing it.
Yeah.
The sound levels are kind of fucked up, but it was cool.
Yeah, well, I think we ought to wrap this up here.
Yeah.
It's been nice rapping about video games and stuff. It's a really random episode, kind of different than one we've ever done before.
Yeah.
But Cosmic Shake looks cool. I know some of our fans have told us that, they already have it and have played it. And
Jacob
Whatever.
Borth beat it in like 6 hours, he said.
Jacob Borth just went right through it. And Patreon supporter, Jacob Borth, that is. And
Cosmic Shake Demolisher. Like I said in the Discord, he probably has the speedrun record for the game because not that many people have played it. And it sounds like
I
he
bet
beat
that's
it pretty
not
fast.
true. I bet there's
Right,
people
but he's
that
got to
beat
be
it.
top 20 maybe.
Maybe, I don't
like just
know.
theoretically, at least at the time of when he beat it, just fun thing to think
Maybe,
about.
maybe at the time, but I'm sure like people are already like figuring out
Yeah, for
strategies
sure.
and routes for this.
Oh, also, if you're really into speedruns, do you know Moist Critical? I forget.
Yeah, Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie. He is doing like a thing like monthly now where it's like he'll give you this shitty game on Steam and say, whoever can beat this in the fastest time, first place, like essentially the top 3 people split 10 grand. And they're going to do that every month. And like if you figure out a super useful exploit, like you'll get money for being creative with that too.
Oh,
so if
that's
you do
cool.
like speed runs, I mean, I've speed ran before and I like it. It's something I've definitely considered recently since there's
you've
money on the
speed-ran
line.
before and you'll speed run again.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just thought that was cool. Remember to bring it up.
Yeah, I've been, I've definitely like known of that guy for a while, but now I've been watching his takes on things most of the time
Yeah.
on YouTube because I think
great.
he's just he has a lot of. I mean, he talks about things in a mostly like pretty eloquent way, and like
Yeah.
I feel like he has a
Casual
good-
but eloquent for sure.
I feel like he just has generally the same take as me on things too.
Yeah.
So that's helpful.
Right. That's the thing I think that is most like watchable about him is that he like never seems to be like on the wrong side of stuff. He's always like this is what this shit really is, and a lot of
Right.
times it ends up being true or whatever. Look
Yeah.
at that, wall kicks will work.
He seems like a smart cat.
Or will they?
But
Uh-huh.
or will they? But yeah, so let's
Yeah, tell him who you are.
let's wrap it up. My name's Alexander Beardsley. I'm one half of the co-hosts here at Striped Sweater Podcast. And you can find me on the internet, on the Instagram and stuff under the name Ashton Waganda. That's ASHTONWAGANDHA. I'm I'm around if you want to hit me up. I know that's something earlier, I think earlier today or yesterday, I just shared some Mario 64 art on my thing, on my story. So if you follow me on there, you probably already knew that I like Mario 64 because I like to share art from it and other games that I like on occasion. So yeah, follow me. And thanks for listening. And I hope this episode wasn't too different or weird for anybody.
Well, I hope it was different, but not.
Well,
too
I mean,
weird,
I know.
yeah.
I just hope it wasn't like not fun. For people, But I think we talked about a lot of stuff that is interesting, and
Yeah, we're
lets
definitely
people get to know us in a little bit of a different light, and that's cool. So thanks for listening, and we appreciate you. Make sure you check out the Patreon, patreon.com/stripesweater. Take it away, Zach.
I'm Zach Main, totally rad _ Zach at places on the internet. If you want to reach out to us, you can always join the Discord, which should be easy to find if you go to our Facebook or look at any of our pages that we mentioned. You can also send us a message at stripesweaterproductions@gmail.com. Check out our YouTube for things like, hopefully, the gameplay version of this episode, and things like EggsFL, the world's only egg wrestling federation.
First and only of its kind.
And some of the episodes that we had are on there, but you've probably already listened to them on podcast things. But it is there. So check us out. Remember, patreon.com/stripesweater. And yeah, it's been cool. I think, this kind of thing too, we've had people actually bring up wanting to see like Let's Plays of it, of certain things, and just having us kind of mess around and talk and do that. So I think it's something requested. It was fun to do. Let us know what you think. And I think just overall, I don't think we're getting sick of SpongeBob at this point. If anything, it's exciting to be back. It's just nice to kind of switch it up. But I don't know. We haven't talked about it, but I would think the plan for the next episode would be your regularly scheduled content of SpongeBob. What do
I
you
would
think?
say that's probably a good idea
Yeah.
to get back to SpongeBob. So we'll do season 5, episode 4.
We're about to beat the karate level, though. It's Kill Bill Sandy.
Kill Bill Sandy.
We gotta beat Kill Bill Sandy here.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny. He did different voice.
Bob and his biggest Dallas lunatic partner Patrick's
Big as Dallas.
Actually, we came in through the roof.
Is that
Oh, they came in through the roof.
'Cause Texas?
Yeah, right. Big as Dallas. Did you watch the Royal Rumble?
I did watch a lot of it, actually,
It was
which
pretty good.
I have not watched wrestling in so long.
Right,
it was fun.
same.
I thought it was like pretty good. There was a couple girls or women, I should say, in the women's that I am not super familiar with who were like really over, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, cool. Like, this is
Same.
cool. Like, they're over as fuck. Like Raquel.
Raquel Rodriguez.
Like, she was over. I was like, what the fuck? This girl's over as hell, and
Yeah.
I really don't know anything about her. Like,
I know
but
she's
cool.
like, yeah, she's like gonna be maybe in the Elimination Chamber now. She was like in a match to determine if she's in it or whatever. I might
Okay.
watch Elimination Chamber. I mean,
It's fun, I suppose.
yeah, it's fun enough. Okay, so this I gotta get in front of the explosive barrels. Here we go. Nice and easy. Move out of the way. Oh, Sandy, you dumbass. Absolute. Oh, wait. Oh, there we go. Karate kick ya.
Yeah, karate.
Got him. Now I got jellies here. Like, what? I can't beat the jellies, bro. You think I can't defeat these guys? I'm Sponge fucking Bob. Square pants. You know what that means? Means I can do karate. So yeah, this part, this is the end. The podcast is basically over. Just kind of beating Sandy's ass now. What is this? It's a spinning, oh geez, a spinning spiked wooden contraption. This I don't know why. Just the way it like is reflecting off things reminds me of the Mr. Mime game from Pokemon Stadium. Loved that one. Wait. Oh. Okay. I'm still
Mr.
alive.
Mime game.
Yeah, the Mr. Mime mini game where you had to like use barrier to like hit balls.
Oh, it's from the second one.
Is it?
I believe so. Because I'm
Probably.
very familiar with the first one, the second one less so. So I'm thinking that must be from the second one.
Yeah, it definitely could be. Now that I think about
Because
it.
like I know, like yeah, I could. I'm pretty sure I could tell you all the mini games from Pokemon Stadium.
Same. Clefairy,
The first one.
Rattata, Drowsy, Magikarp.
Yeah, Magikarp is first, and then
Ekans.
it's like Clefairy, and then Rattata, I think.
Oh my god.
Ekans.
I died.
There's the Sandshrew one.
I gotta do this part over.
Metapod Kakuna one.
Harden.
Lickitung. Pikachu and Voltorb.
Pinsir and Scyther. Or wait, that's
No,
the second one.
that's the second
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Yeah. The Clefairy one we said already. Pretty sure there's one more. There's 9. I know there's 9.
Yeah, we said. I mean, I don't know which.
Either
one
way,
this
it doesn't matter. But that's a game I played a lot also, even though it's like barely
Did
a
we do the
game.
count? Did you say the counting one? Jigglypuff?
Jigglypuff counting?
Oh wait, that's also the second one.
Yeah, I think so.
The second one had banger games. There we go. I beat her. The
To the end of the movie.
paparazzi's going crazy. Yep, the movie's over. I'm getting pictures everywhere. It's like Squidward Schmidt.
It was
something.
all a dream.
Did that explosion give you a concussion?
He's like, did the explosion give you a concussion? I pulled it off. Squidward, the director, is very happy. I wonder who's gonna get brought back from this. Probably Squidward.
Brought back?
Yeah, like through the portal with us.
I thought we weren't in a portal.
No, we are.
Oh, I asked you if we were. and
I thought
said
you
no.
asked if we like left one. So it looks like we took Sandy with us. I thought you meant from when we went to the one scene to the other, was there a portal in the middle? But overall, yeah, we were in the movie portal that whole time. We brought Sandy back. The tree dome is
No
fixed.
problem, Sandy.
And that's it. So far, I mean, I like the game. It's definitely nothing like crazy so far, but it's not awful. You know, it's pretty fun. I like it. I like the callbacks, the graphics, especially the textures. Thumbs up. I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. So hopefully, if you
Looks like there's still like 5 more levels, so that's pretty good.
yeah, right.
That seems like a lot of levels.
If you are still listening, thank you. But this is probably the time where we say so long, farewell,
Gucci.
and Gucci.
Indeed. All right.
Okay.
See you
See ya.
later.
Love
Thanks
ya.
for listening.
All right.
All right now.
All right. Yeah. All right.